saying.
Oh, well.
But that's okay. So we're going to watch Mr. Mars up and down.
Do the
dance all morning long because Jeff is out today. Jeff is vacationing for a family reunion in the fine state of Michigan.
Well, good for him. Enjoying the weather, I'm sure.
I'm sure. Anything's
you
better.
Enjoyed the weather when you were there.
But I was way up north.
You were in the UP.
I was in the UP, and it was a wonderful time to be had by all. At any rate, so Conrad is here. Mars is here. I'm here. And now you're here. We thank you for joining us on this Saturday morning. And I had an interesting conversation with John Gray before we went on the air this morning.
No, let's not go there.
Oh, I'm not going to go there. I just said an interesting conversation with him, and it was about grooming, and he and I think the same way. We take our grooming seriously. Let me ask you something, John.
Sir,
do you have one of those aftermarket shave kit? Everybody and his mother all of a sudden has discovered there's a big market for shaving your face. And do you have any special shaving apparatus that you buy? You pay enormous amounts of money for?
I don't. I recently ordered though the razor I use is a Jeremy's. And you've got to go and look at some of their commercials because they're absolutely fantastic, and they make fun of like Gillette and some of the other guys for being so woke and so
woke shavers.
Yes, and so the Jeremy's commercials are fantastic, and it's pretty reasonably priced. But
and you order them online, and then they deliver them in the mail.
That's the only, and it's a subscription, so you don't, you go to the store, go to the drugstore, and buy these, these blades, and man, they're just
$15-$20. Yeah,
it's stupid. Yeah, it's absolutely stupid. So
it really is.
Well, not only that, but I've always been a Schick man. Well, the problem with Schick is the fact that they've got these different models. Well, naturally, the handle that I bought was the Hydro. And it fits nothing else. So you have to buy the Hydro blades, not the Schick,
Which are the high-dollar blades.
No, they're not necessarily. They're all high dollar. Doesn't make any difference, but the other ones don't fit the handle.
No, I go to the dollar store and buy that bag of disposable ones.
Yeah, that's why you never shave.
And I use them once and throw them out.
Let me tell you something. Those things are dangerous. They don't shave you. They pull the hairs out of your face. That's how bad those are.
Okay.
So anyway, all right. Well, John Gray, the shaving expert, is joining us today to talk about male grooming. I'm sorry, different story, different day.
Please.
I got sidetracked.
John's here talking about grooming your car and how to keep your car safe.
Well, here's the
heat of the summer.
Well, here's the deal. For me personally, like tomorrow morning, John, and you need to come to Craig Bierman's Chrome and Coffee down at the Avalon Diner. It's the first Sunday of the month. So I'm going to go. So what do I got to do? I've got to get up at the crack of dawn, wash the car, dry the car, detail the car as best I can. I mean, this is not a car show. It's a cruise in. And detail all before the sun hits it.
Yeah, but your car is kind of prepped, ready to go.
Well, pretty much.
Ceramic. Once you get that ceramic coating, the car is so much easier to clean.
How long does it take? Does a ceramic coating last forever?
No, they will degrade over time. A car that's in the garage and it's not a daily driver, I mean, it could last, 7, 8, 9 years.
Really?
But a daily driven car that may or not be garaged all the time, that gets washed more often than say a garage queen would. Our stuff's going to be, mostly 5 years, 6 years.
Okay.
Well, and there was a lot of them out there that are 1 to 2 year products, but some more of your heavy solid stuff, your American made products are going to last a little bit longer than some of your stuff made in the Far East.
He's being nice. China. It's from China. I'm proud to announce to you that Leslie no longer has a Jaguar. Proudly. I'm proud.
That's a good thing. What'd you buy?
Well, we got a Volkswagen Tiguan. a brand new
Good
one.
little car.
Yeah,
Good little car.
right over there from Archer, and it's black on black. It's very nice, and we need to do we need to bring it to you to get a ceramic coating put on it?
I would. I'm not sure if she works and that car sits outside a lot
All the time.
that'd be a good idea. As hot as it is, I would also recommend let's get her car tinted with some good tint. These cars that are sitting outside, car that sits outside right now, as hot as it is on the outside. I mean, look, we registered 145 degrees in one of our cars sitting out back.
Oh God,
Man, and that is just not good for your.
It's not good for
anything. Any of the interior pieces in your car.
I was going to say
It can really cause some damage.
That's a medium rare ribeye at 145.
Yep.
Well,
So right now, as hot as it is, man, I would definitely recommend, even if you've got like a clear IR rejecting window film on your front windshield, your dash is just taking an absolute beating. And it's not so much from the UV. Yeah, in the old days, UV was some of your glass technology of today really cuts down a lot on the UV. So you don't see as many like dashboards that are washed out and
cracked
and damage from UV. It's just that heat. We recently had a Ferrari in here. It was the last year of the 458. So that really wasn't that long ago. Well, these cars have leather dashboards on them, and this car obviously had spent some time outside. Well, the dash was separating from like the vents for the defroster.
Substrate,
Yeah, it was actually separating from some of the plastic parts in the dash, and that just shows you what heat can do.
that's an
to some of
expensive
the
repair, my
stuff.
friend. That's a new dashboard.
That's going to be an expensive repair, my
Yeah,
friend.
no doubt about it.
But again, manufacturers, the engineers have to do something in the design of the vehicle. You talked about the improvement in the quality of the glass, but also in the adhesives that they use and the plastics that they use to deal with those 140, 150, 160 degree interior temperatures some cars will see. And that's why you'll see just a whole range of older Chevrolet and GMC pickup trucks that the dash would separate and bubble up, or it'd crack right there at some of the skinny spots where the defrost vents are and stuff.
Well, I have to tell you that years and years ago, I guess back when I had the 77 Corvette, they didn't have a whole lot of sunshades, and I wound up spending, I don't know, $75 on a sunshade for the front window, which was a lot compared to some of the stuff that you can buy today. Anything is better than nothing. But I started going with carcover.com. Okay? It wasn't a .com back then, but it was CarCover. They're out of California. And they've got this silver-coated, and it's foldable, and it's you unfold it and you sit it up there on the dash and you put the sun visors down to hold it up there, and it works great. Mm-hmm. It's not the umbrella looking thing, and it's hard and it's long as the windshield is tall.
Yeah, it looks like a baked potato.
And it works. It looks good. It's clean looking.
And it reflects the sun out of the car.
Yeah. So I've used that. I bought one for Leslie's car, and she uses it. She's a school teacher, so needless to say, there's no undercover parking out there in the parking lot, and it's important. And she's got a very nice leather interior in that Tiguan that she bought. And I'll tell you, it's truly amazing. Now, for me personally, I always crack the windows up at the top just enough to let the heat out. And if I can, if it's a car that, don't get me started on sunroofs because I'm not a fan of those things. But if I can pull the shade back just enough and tilt the sunroof open, tilt it open.
Like
so
a chimney to let the hottest air out.
Yeah.
And it makes sense.
So I try to help it as much as I can. Now in this new office building that we've actually got a carport out there so I can pull in there and keep the sun off of it. But even at that, it's still 105 degrees outside.
Yeah, I used to have these.
No matter what.
I used to have these things that fit over the rear windows that had a solar panel on the outside, and it pushed a little fan that literally drew the air from the interior and pushed it outside of the vehicle.
Yeah.
And it easily lowered the interior temperature 30 degrees.
I believe that.
And like John said, the heat of the day, seeing 135, 145 degrees inside of a vehicle here in Houston is not uncommon, and that's where it comes to the safety of children that you leave inside. You can't, and pets
Children,
that you can't
pets,
leave inside the car.
Yeah, there's no
Yeah,
way. Go
The
ahead.
sunshade, great idea on the sunshade, Don. Also, there's a product out there. 303 Aerospace seems to have the best interior protectant. It's not going to give you the glossy look like a Armor All. Some of these other products will. It's just a very subtle, mattish satin type finish, and it has excellent UV rejection, and it just keeps the plastics and the in the faux leathers and whatnot that some of these manufacturers are using. It seems to keep them in a little better shape going through these hotter months. But man, even if you've got a tent on it, I would highly recommend it, especially as hot and as sunny as it's been. It's when the sun's out that you really get the most heat coming through that windshield.
Yeah. I've been truly amazed at the temperatures and the temperatures inside the car.
So, John, what can people do to protect the paint, the exterior paint on their vehicle from the heat and the sun damage?
So you don't have any sort of UV protection on the outside of your car. So you need to get something with some sort of UV inhibitors on them. That's why we recommend ceramic coating so much. Ceramic coatings, paint protection film are both outstanding as far as protecting your paint from any kind of UV damage. At least you need to keep a wax or a polymer sealant on your paint job. That way, that will also help the paint not be as damaged from the UV rays of the sun. But also, I will say this: you just don't see the oxidation on paint jobs that you used to see. I remember the silver cars, man. You used to always say, don't get a silver car because the paint's going to oxidize and whatnot.
Right.
Well, you don't. The quality of the paint systems on most of the vehicles out there today have improved, and the chemistry in those paint jobs have improved enough to where we don't have as much oxidation, but there's still damage that can be done to your paint jobs from sun. Let's say you get some water on your car while the paint's hot, sprinklers hit it and whatnot. Very, very difficult to remove if you don't have some sort of protectant on the car or some sort of sacrificial barrier on the car.
Well, I've got that silver car cover again from Car Cover at carcovers.inc, and that's the best car cover I've ever had. And you guys see all the bird poop and everything else that's on that car. Can you imagine what that car would look like if I didn't have that on there?
Oh man,
Be bad.
Bird poop in this kind of heat will eat straight into your paint job,
Yep.
and a lot of times that is not fixable.
Correct.
So yeah, that's the birds right now with the heat combination is really, really tough. There's not a wax or a sealant that's going to stop that sort of damage. Ceramic coatings, if you got the right ceramic coating, yes, it can. If you have one with excellent UV or excellent low pH resistance.
I went to, don't laugh, Walmart this week because I was looking for a non-shiny tire treatment. All I want to do is just get it nice and clean and black. Without some,
So
ugly
you quit
looking.
using brake fluid like you used to when you were in high school?
I've never done that.
I've seen
I've
people
never
use brake fluid.
brake fluid.
Just
No,
insane.
Fluid.
So I can't find any. They don't have it at Walmart. They've got every kind of tire shine. I don't want tire shine. So what I
tire
do
black?
is tire black. So what I do is I've been using chemical guys on them, just about out of it, spray a little bit on there, wipe it on, and then let it sit for a few minutes and then basically wipe it off.
But you're trying to moisturize your tires.
Well, that's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Well, it's exactly
So
what
do
you're
you
trying
have
to do.
something, John? What do you recommend?
Well, Don, I would recommend, first of all, you mentioned that you sprayed it on your tires.
No,
Don't
I didn't do that. Spray it on a rag and then wipe it
Thank
off.
you. Yeah, you don't ever want to spray anything directly onto your onto your tires.
No.
Fine Lab makes a pretty good product. It's called Black Velvet. And if you prep your tire the right way, it can last for a couple of months. But you'll also need to be careful with it because it's actually got a black dye in it as well. So when you're putting it on, if you get any on your wheels, you're going to want to make sure that you wipe that up because it's going to be very difficult to get off. But I found that, the more you put on it, the shinier it will get. So if you do, no matter what you use, if you use a light layer and you wipe it on, it's not going to be as shiny. But the part about you going behind what you did and wiping it off, that's exactly what you should do if you don't want the really thick, glossy look.
Yeah.
And it's never a good idea. Some of these tire shines will sling. And there's nothing,
and then all of a
just
sudden
nothing
you've got
better
all
than
the-
a look. Yeah, and then of course you sling it down the side of your car and you drive it, and then where the tire shine is, what do you got? Dirt. So it's all peppered down the side of your car. It looks like it's just got these black dots going down the side of a clean car. It looks terrible. So that's why I say don't ever spray it on the tires.
No, I never do. No, I spray it on the rag away from the car. And if there's a wind, make sure I'm downwind, not upwind. Spray it in the rag and then wipe it on there. Let it sit for a little bit and then go around and wipe it all off. And
the Karate Kid, wax on, wax off.
Yeah. Well, I'm a fanatic about my tires and my wheels. As John knows, he had to fix a wheel for me. And anyway, another story.
Another benefit to wiping it on there and not spraying it on there is you're getting it on the wheels, and there's not a dirtier part of the car than on the wheels.
Absolutely.
And all that does when you get it on the wheels is attract and cause that brake dust to build up on that wheel.
Well, and then with the technology of some of the cars today that have these carbon ceramic brake rotors on them, you don't want to put any of that stuff on that carbon ceramic brake rotor. It's $1,000
exactly
a rotor
right.
as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
Gets
it's more than that.
expensive real quick.
What do you got in?
Get,
What do you have out there in the shop this week?
Man, we've had getting a lot of Range Rovers in right now. Range Rover seems to be producing a few more cars. Love them. You
And
need to
hate
lease it. You need to lease it. That's what I always tell you.
No,
You need to lease it.
You're right on the money with that because you don't want that to be a long-term car because they have their issues long-term.
Aston Martin as well. We've seen a couple of DBX 707s in here. And let me tell you, man, that car, that is something to see.
Yeah.
The diffusers and whatnot on that thing. That is a bad boy.
What's the fastest car you got in there? Is it the Aston?
Yeah, I believe it is probably the Aston Martin, the most powerful car for sure.
Yeah, that's my bucket list car. I'd take an Aston Martin over a Ferrari or a Lamborghini in a heartbeat.
John,
And, my clients that buy them absolutely love them, and they don't give them a lot of trouble for an English car. Really, they seem to be very good quality vehicles.
John, it's always great to talk to you, and thank you for the shaving help this morning and nose hair trimming, and we appreciate everything that you do. Everything.
Don, give me a call. We'll get Leslie's car in here and get her taken care of, buddy.
I will.
Hey,
man.
come on out to Coffee and Chrome tomorrow.
Oh, y'all going to be out there tomorrow?
Yeah.
Y'all?
Yeah.
All of y'all?
Well,
Don's going to be
I'm gonna
signing
be
hero
there.
cards.
I'm not. I don't have any hero cards, and I'll be there. But
Hero cards.
hero
Hanging
cards. Yeah. John, we're getting hero cards for John.
That's
Okay.
where we need them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Johnny, we love you, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you, boys. Enjoy the day.
Thank you. You
Stay
do the
cool.
same. Stay cool. Okay. That was good, huh?
Worked.
Yep.
It's a miracle, Mars. Mars made it work. He came over here and hit the button, and off he went. All right. Hey, if you'd like to get in touch with us, shoot us some hate mail, go ahead. The address is info@nwheeltime.com. How about the cruise-in calendar? And right off the top, the cruise-in for tomorrow is going to be Chrome and Coffee at the Avalon Diner in the Fountains, 9 to noon. Come early, stay late, have breakfast at the Avalon, not on us, but they got the best breakfasts over there.
And Don will
their
be
bacon
there.
is to die for.
Is it?
Yeah, order it crispy. Oh, and it's so good.
It's the only way to order bacon.
Yeah, and
Who wants flabby
they've
bacon?
got really, really good grits. I like grits.
I'm a corned beef hash and poached eggs kind of
Okay, well,
breakfast guy.
I can appreciate that. Okay.
So Mustang Club of America, October 7th, is they're having their fall open car show.
No, this is a show. This is not a cruise-in.
I screw that up every time.
Every single time. It's the cruise-in calendar.
The 7th anniversary car and bike show at Harley-Davidson in College Station is tomorrow, is this morning at 11 to 3. Also this morning is the back to school car show
Oh, my God.
at the pop-up shop in Lawrence Street in Victoria, Texas, for all your friends of the Hot Rod Tour of Texas
Yes.
that are based in Victoria.
Yes.
Be a fun thing to go to. The Black Belt Barbecue Cook-Off and Car Show
Everybody was kung fu fighting.
at the Knights of Columbus in Rosenberg, Texas.
Uh-huh.
And then the Crossroads Cruisers Cars and Coffee at the Waterwell Cafe, again in Victoria, Texas. And then Cruise to Cars and Airplanes and on South Staples in Corpus Christi is tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Classic Cars and Coffee and Donuts at the Whitehall Cafe in Navasota. Cars and Tuners at Tom's Cafe in Katy, Texas is tomorrow. The Woodlands Coffee and Cars for a Cause, one of Randy Weldon's favorite things to do. That starts at 6:30 in the morning in the Woodlands. Be there. They're taking donations and give to a local.
I'm taking donations, too.
Local Montgomery County charity.
Thank you. Time now for this hour's car review. I had a chance to drive the Lincoln Corsair 2023 model. Available trim levels are Standard, Reserve, and Grand Touring. There's no yawning on the air. No, it's not allowed.
Too late.
Apparently. I had the Reserve, which is the middle trim level. This is a small crossover SUV. Seats 5, including the driver. Exterior changes, well, it gets a refresh for the 23 model. So they've refined the front end of the thing. Little tweaks here and
Headlights, taillights, and grill.
there. Yep. Exterior features, larger front grille and redesigned headlights. Sheet metal boasts sophisticated kind of style. Painted wheel opening moldings, which I like. I don't like the black plastic, because it's like, did the paint not go far enough on this build? Paint the wheel openings. Sloping roof line and extra wide rear hatch that actually kind of wraps around the side of it. It's kind of unusual if you look at where the slot is that the rear hatch goes in, but it works. It's great. Overall, high zoot appearance.
It should be. It's a Lincoln.
What could use improvement? I would say offer at least a trim level that's a little bit more aggressive with luxury competitors.
The Hot Rod Lincoln.
Hot Rod Lincoln. That'd be great. Interior highlights, conservative horizontal dash design with large standalone infotainment screen. And it has to be standalone because, it's a small SUV. They don't have lots of yardage in there to play with. Integrated HVAC vents across the bottom of the dash, which was a unique touch. So they've got a strip down there underneath the dash, kind of like old school, but all of it is the same height of this strip.
Keep your yarbles cool.
Comfortable seating, passive phone charger in under the console sliding door. Okay. What I liked, all Corsairs new now come with Copilot 360, which includes adaptive cruise control and lane keeping assist. They didn't do that before. What could use improvement? More bling, a little bit more expressive design. Let me see that it's a Lincoln. Come on, Ford, you can do it. 2.0 liter turbo 4, 250 horsepower out of that thing, 275 pound-feet of torque. Perfectly matched, in my opinion. 8-speed automatic transmission. It'll tow up to 3,000 pounds. It's 22 city, 30 miles per gallon highway for a combined of 25. I got 25.1.
Pretty good.
It's spot on, yeah.
Real good.
Mid-sized utility.
Yeah,
Mars could never
small
get that.
utility, 214.6 miles. A lot of it, of course, is on the tollway, as I've mentioned a million times. What I liked, nicely matched up horsepower with transmission, and that's important. A plug-in hybrid is available as well. Didn't get to drive that. Would love to someday. Hello, hint, hint, Ford. Ride and handling, what I liked about it, super smooth. It's a Lincoln.
Supposed to be.
What could use improvement? Adjustability on the suspension if I were going to offer anything. Have that as an option on there.
Good-looking wheels on it, too.
Yes, it was a beautiful vehicle. I was thoroughly impressed, and this car's been out for a while. Base trim price, $44,270. Prices tested, $61,535, which falls right in line with others, and I'll show you about that in a minute. Base model price, $38,690. Now, with the $38,690 entry-level price, it competes against the Acura RDX for $41,550, the Cadillac XT4 for $36,295, and the Lexus NX for $39,000.
So this is the smallest of Lincoln's utilities.
It is, yeah. It's very nice, and I wish that they would give more attention to their Lincoln brand because I think it is deserving. And I think it competes against those that I mentioned, among others. And if you're out shopping for a small SUV luxury brand, there you go. Go give them a shout. Want to remind you that the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for In-Wheel Time Car Talk. We also stream on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. Podcasts at your fingertips on over a dozen of the most popular podcast outlets. The In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show continues right after this quick break. Everyone at the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In at the Lupe Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, thank you for participating in the best cruise in around and look forward to seeing you again. You'll hear about the next cruise in date right here on In-Wheel Time. Next time you're in the West Houston Energy Corridor area, be sure and stop in at the original Lupe Tortilla Tex-Mex at I-10 and Highway 6 or the Katy location on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard. When passing through Beaumont or College Station, stop in and have Lupe's award-winning beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. There's always a celebration at Lupe Tortilla. Lupe Tortilla founder Stan Holt and his wife Sheila are winning racers on the NHRA drag racing circuit and have a collection of hot rods and classics that everyone appreciates. Look for them at the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In. The date will be announced soon and will once again be held at the Lupe Tortilla Tex-Mex on 99 and Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10 and Katy. We'll give you all the details right here on the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show and online. Donations benefit God's Garage. We'll see you then. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The award-winning In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available on the most popular podcast channels out there in 30-minute episodes. We realize our 3-hour live show can be difficult to catch in its entirety, so now you can listen every day to a convenient, fresh 30-minute episode. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Audible, along with a dozen more. In-Wheel Time has the most informative automotive guest interviews and new car reviews, along with popular features including Conrad's Car Clinic and This Week in Auto History, along with automotive news headlines. Our live broadcast airs every Saturday, 8 to 11 Central on InWheelTime.com, the iHeart app, and on YouTube. Be sure to say hello when we're broadcasting from the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In, Autorama, and the Houston Auto Show, among others. Now, it's easier than ever to hear about all things automotive all week long. You're invited to join fellow car enthusiasts in becoming part of the ever-growing In-Wheel Time Car Talk family. Don't forget those 30-minute podcast episodes on your favorite podcast channel. It's the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Coming up, we talk to NHRA Pro Stock motorcycle pilot Angel Sampay. Conrad has This Week in Auto History to get you caught up on the stories making car news this week. Howdy, along with Mike Out of This World Mars. I'm missing words today for some reason. I'm all amped up on that coffee I did, I guess, earlier. Mike Out of This World Mars, King Conrad DeLong. I'm Don Armstrong. Jeff's out today. He's on a family reunion in Michigan.
Enjoying himself,
I'm sure he is, and I know that he's listening, watching. And Jeffrey, if you'd like to call in, please do. We'd love to talk to you.
Please.
Call 867-5409.
5309. You missed it by one.
I'm in Beaumont. It's 409.
Beaumont. Okay. Thank you. Angel Sampe, hi. It's good to see you. How are you? Oh, got to press. Oh, are you muted on your end?
Yes, she's muted.
You're muted. Unmute your phone.
Okay.
There you go.
There you are.
There you go. How are you?
I'm great. Can you hear me okay? Because I don't have a microphone. I'm just on my phone.
Yeah,
we can hear you great.
Yeah, and sitting out in the front porch. Are you serious? Is it not burning up there like it's burning up here?
Well, so let me explain. So I'm not home. I am at my in-laws, my mother-in-law, my father-in-law's house on a beautiful lake, Caney Lake in Louisiana. Everybody else is still sleeping. But let me just kind of turn around right here and give you my view.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, we're all jealous.
Listen, we feel so sorry for you. Not.
Yeah, so I can't move because there's no signal here. So I'm hooked to Wi-Fi, though, so I should be okay.
It looks great and sounds great. And, well, lucky you is all I can say.
Someone is cutting the grass next door, so you may hear that in a second.
That'd be okay.
That's perfectly fine. So 46 career wins. I went to the NHRA website and looked up. They don't update this stuff during the season. They update it in the off season.
Yeah.
So how are you doing? I know that you're currently placed 6th in the overall lineup there at as far as points are concerned with NHRA Pro Stock Motorcycle. How are things going for you?
Actually, I'm not competing this year.
What?
So I don't. Yeah, you guys didn't know that. So I was released from the team that I was with last year, and my sponsor was Mission Foods, and they were not happy that I wasn't racing, so they collected me up and put me on board with the team at Mission directly, and now I am the ambassador of the Mission Too Fast, Too Tasty Challenge, and I go to all the races, and I do some pit commentary, interviewing drivers. I stand at the end of the track when the race is going on and interview the winner, and I'm having a blast. It's not racing, but I'm at the races. But I can tell you one thing: I sleep way better on Saturday night because I don't. Sunday.
Well, I love that. So, like I said, so the NHRA doesn't update the dang website.
Exactly. Yeah. So I haven't. Yeah, I haven't been on the racetrack since November of last year.
Oh my God! Well, it's a lot safer where you are now.
It is, but I will key you in on. I do have some plans. And we'll be announcing that pretty soon.
Well, from my time, doing marketing and PR for the Valvoline team, Hot Rod Fuller, I'm sure you know about all that.
Yep.
Back in the day, I can tell you that one thing I learned about, especially drag racing, I can't speak for the others, but I have a feeling they kind of got that one thing in common. The competitiveness of these drivers is such that don't take me away from my sport. It's my thing, and there is an adrenaline rush, and there is it overcomes your spirit, your mind, your body, and everything to get out there on the track. Am I right?
Look, let me tell you, I've been doing this for 26 years. My passion for this sport is stronger today than it was the day I started. My passion for winning is stronger today than it was the day I started. I was told at the end of last year that I should retire. Those were the wrong words to tell me. So I'm taking it a step further. So I kind of wish we would have done this interview in another week or so, but you'll see what's going on pretty soon.
We can call back.
Well,
Most definitely.
I think, too, what you're bringing to NHRA as a whole with the Too Fast, Too Tasty challenge is pretty interesting, because if you look back over time, quite a number of championships have been in the balance of the 2, 3, 5 point range. And now that Too Fast, Too Tasty Challenge is also bringing in points to it that are happening on Saturdays in not qualifying, but Too Fast, Too Tasty Challenge, but it's in the qualifying realm of the event. And now they can earn championship points with that. You've almost changed the face of what they're doing on Saturday qualifying.
Most definitely. I think Ron Capps is the one that's mentioned it pretty often, that he won his championship or one of his championships by 2 points.
Right.
So this deal could change things for several people. Justin Ashley has won it 5 times, so he's gained 15 points to go towards his championship countdown. We've had Gage Herrera, who's won it multiple times. So it's going to make a big difference. It makes a big difference for the guys on the team as well, because that money, it seems like most of these racers or teams are sharing this money with their crew guys, so that's a big deal for them. Mission Foods, Mr. Juan Gonzalez, who runs Mission, is probably one of the biggest race fans I know. His heart is huge, and he wants to do stuff for the racers themselves. And this has been a really fun event. Mission is all about fun and racing, so it's going off really well. I'm enjoying it so much. I'm so glad to be a part of it. If I hadn't had this deal, I'd be sitting at home probably in a deep depression, but I'm not. I'm at the racetrack enjoying myself, and yes, the teams and the racers themselves are loving the whole idea, and I think it's going to change the sport dramatically.
Well,
and it looks like it's going to go on. It's not going to be just this year,
And handing him that $10,000 check at the end of qualifying on Saturdays for the winners of it.
And it's funny because you ask them what's more important, the check or the points, and they'll have a different answer before the race starts than they have at the end, because everybody's so excited.
Well,
and then, they often will talk about they have enough money to go buy lots of tortillas for the whole team now. So.
There you go. One of the things that I wanted to say to you is the fact that does this new job of yours, doesn't it give you a different perspective of NHRA and drag racing, and you're exposed to so many different things now and not just focused as a driver?
It definitely has. I'm developing relationships with the teams that I didn't have before. When I was racing, I pretty much stayed to myself or inside the Pro Stock bike pits. You don't have time to get out and really hang out with anybody, except maybe after hours, which by the end of the day, you're so tired, you just want to get dinner and go back to your hotel. So I knew a lot of the racers, but I didn't really know them. I couldn't say that we were friends, we just knew each other, but now I'm becoming friends with a lot of teams, a lot of drivers, a lot of crew guys. I'm meeting fans more often because I'm able to stay. I'm completely outside of the trailer all weekend long, just hanging out, walking around, driving around. I have an awesome little Burmax Mission wrapped Burmax bike that I ride around the pits in all day long. So I'm just out and about a whole bunch more. I'm working with NHRA more. So, yes, I'm seeing all sides of racing now instead of just behind the handlebars of my motorcycle. I think
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
It's making me a more well-rounded racer, and will develop me better for, an even longer future in the sport.
What is your take on the closure of all of these stayed in the wool kind of racetracks that are closing? And I mean, doesn't it bother you?
It's a little concerning. We're losing some really good tracks, some of my favorite places, and I've been through this. I've been in the sport for, like I said, 26 years. So this isn't anything new to me. We've lost tracks in the past, like when we lost Memphis was one of my favorite racetracks and a close one to home. But something comes up, I look at it this way: we lose drivers that drop out or can't afford to attend anymore, and you start thinking, oh well, the class is going to die because we don't have enough racers. But then there's new blood that shows up soon, and I'm hoping that that's what's going to happen with these racetracks. I know Topeka's going away, but there's word that there's going to be another track in Kansas. So I don't think the sport is in any jeopardy by any means. I think we still have enough passion and interest with the fans and the racers themselves that we're going to keep growing. There's things planned for the future with NHRA that I know are going to make things a lot better. We may be losing a couple of tracks here and there, but we're gaining popularity with the fans. And, maybe we'll have some more open up in the future. Maybe we'll just have more races at the same tracks. We can double up in Indy or double up somewhere else. That's my idea, my opinion. But I'm not in fear that anything's going wrong with the sport at all. I feel from what I'm seeing and hearing and feeling with the fans and the racers that everything is great.
How about the girl power that seems to be continuing to grow year after year throughout the NHRA? And you kind of at the forefront of all that.
That is definitely happening. I can remember being, one of the very, very few females at the racetrack, and now it seems like we're getting close to being 50-50 with the female competitors. There's girls on the crew that there's husband and wife team owners now, so it's definitely growing. And that's awesome, and that helps the sport as well. So it's amazing to see the young girls coming in. Gianna Salinas is one of the new girls on Pro Stock Motorcycles, and to watch her grow when she first started, the way she was driving then and the way she's driving now, she's doing amazing. She's beautiful. She's friendly. She's so down to earth. Her whole team is. So there's lots of that going on with these girls and these ladies behind the wheel or the handlebars. And I'm proud to know that I helped open the door to that. Of course, Shirley Muldowney was the first and will always be the woman of drag racing, but I'm just happy to be a part of it and to help it along.
Well, that's absolutely wonderful. Now, are you at every race or just the motorcycle races?
I'm at all of them. The Too Fast, Too Tasty Challenge doesn't happen in Gainesville, so I wasn't there because that's the first race. We don't do the 4 wides, but I'm at everything else until Indy. We do not do the countdown because, of course, that's where it ends and those points take over for the racers. But other than that, I'm where the cars are, where the bikes are. So that was a little different for me this year, too. I got to go to a couple of races I've never been to. I went to Epping. Of course, that was no fun. The weather was horrible, but it was finally go there. And then I went to Seattle, which they did include the bikes this year. But I'm enjoying, going to all the different places. My weekends are a little shorter. I only work on Friday and Saturday, so most of the time I'll get on a plane Saturday night or early Sunday morning and head back home to my family.
You have a daughter? How old is she?
I have 2 daughters, actually. My biological daughter is now 12 years old, although she considers herself a teenager. And my adopted daughter is now 9, and we've been having her since she was 2.
Oh, that is absolutely awesome. Well, I'm a daughter dad. I have 2 daughters, and listen, it's a wonderful time, and it unfortunately lasts too short when they're that age because right around the corner, here comes the driver's license and college, and they're off and gone. Yeah.
Yeah.
So are either of your daughters interested in the sport?
They both have motorcycles, and they ride around the house. My 12-year-old is extremely competitive. She's even more competitive than I am, which is pretty scary. But they aren't showing any real, passion for wanting to race. I think they would if I had the time and the means to bring them out to the track and put them in a junior drag. So I know my 12-year-old says she wants to, but then she has 18 other things she wants to do at the same time.
Oh, yeah.
So right now they're just all over the place, enjoying being kids. I'm not pushing them in any direction. And I definitely don't want to push them to do what I want to do because, I just want them to be who they are because I'm so competitive and so in love with racing. I feel like if I even tried to push them that direction, I would be a little too forceful, so I'm holding back on that.
So in all these years that have gone by and you've been on the NHRA circuit, how many times have you been approached by 4-wheel competitors, Pro Stock, a Top Fuel, a Fuddy car?
Yeah, you recently tried on Antron's Top Fuel car. I saw that.
Yeah, I did. I've been warming up his car for him in qualifying runs, and that is a blast. But yes, I actually have been asked to switch to just about every vehicle you can think of for as long as I can remember. Actually, Shirley Muldowney and I worked on a deal once many, many years ago, trying to put a deal together if she was going to be the team owner and I was going to be her driver, but that fell through at the last minute when our sponsor fell through. So, I've had a lot of opportunities. I even have, to this day, I have people coming up to me at the racetrack offering their sportsman cars to race on the weekend and stuff like that. So there's lots of opportunities out there for me. I have chosen one. And like I said, we we will be making that announcement pretty soon.
That's exciting. That's
Yay.
exciting.
I'm
Well, and I
excited.
imagine all the competitors across NHRA are just thrilled to death that you brought Mission to the table with the Too Fast, Too Tasty challenge, because giving them another race in a race is what you guys do for a living.
Yep. Yeah, it's changed Saturday completely. And, a lot of times I'll ask the drivers in my interviews with them, does it change the way you drive the car or the way you feel about qualifying? Because now it's not just getting the car down the track to get an ET, it's an actual race.
Right.
And some of them will say, oh, yeah, we're going for the money, we're going for the points. And then others might say, well, I still just want to focus on qualifying. We don't want to hurt the car for tomorrow, stuff like that. But then when those lights turn green and they stomp on that loud pedal or turn the throttle on the motorcycle, all the
everything
let's
changes.
be safe, let's save it for tomorrow is out the window, and they are trying to win at all costs. I mean, we've seen Pedal Fest, we've seen it all, because when you're a racer and you have winning in your heart, that's all that matters. The money doesn't matter, the points doesn't matter. It's to be called the winner at the end of the day. That's what they care about.
That's
So
true.
the fans are definitely getting a treat on Saturday. Things are a lot different these days.
Yeah. Well, so when is your next event? Where are you headed to?
We are off to Bristol. I'm not Bristol. I'm sorry. We are going to Topeka, Kansas, this weekend coming, and then we'll be heading to Brainerd after that. And then I have, I think, a weekend or two off, and then our final race for the challenge will be Indy.
Well, when I was on the tour, I will tell you that Brainerd was a wake-up call for me, and I think everybody else, and everybody looked forward to it. And I didn't understand why until I experienced Saturday night in the zoo. And I'm sure that you had your time over there in the zoo as well.
Nights in the zoo. I haven't been there for a while because they did take the bikes out. So that's one reason I'm excited to be doing this, because I get to go back to the zoo and see all the crazy fun fans out there.
And bring your Mission wrap bike through there.
Well, and not only that, but make sure that you are there for the parade as the sun starts to set. Oh my God, you are going to laugh yourself silly.
You've given me an idea. I may have to get a golf cart, load it up with some Mission chips and tortillas, and make a lap around the zoo and pass out some Mission goodies.
There you go. Angel, it's always a great honor and a pleasure to talk to you. You're a true pro in every way, and we wish you the best of luck for the rest of the season. And so where do we find out the latest on Angel?
I'll make sure that my beautiful PR girl, Natalie Torrance, contacts you as soon as she can.
Awesome.
Well,
we appreciate it.
We wish you well on what you have planned in the future.
Thank you, guys. Thanks for having me, and you guys have a blessed weekend.
You do the same. Thanks, hon. See you later.
It always
talking.
amazes
Great
me
interview.
to see people that are
A true pro. Because so here I've done all my research, and I see you sixth in points. Well, I'm not racing this
That was
year.
last year.
Thank you, NHRA.
no lie. I mean, I was going out looking, trying to find a vacant weekend, and I was seeing all these things and seeing what she was doing. And Natalie, her PR person, said, yeah, she is available this weekend. It's the only place I saw that she was free for a few weeks, which is true, but
I'm excited to see what she's going to announce. Now it's, we've had the tease, and I don't know, are we the ones who break that news? That she's got
Well,
there's
I
a
don't know if
plan?
it would be just us, but I will tell you that online, let's just say that it'll probably be us.
Yep. Works for us.
I got all kinds of ideas going through my head. Is she going this way? 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 All the opportunities she has. Yeah.
Is it going to be Top Fuel? Is it going to be Pro Stock? Is it going to be?
I think her options are pretty wide open.
I think that they are.
Anybody'd be thrilled to have her behind the handlebars or behind the wheel. I don't know if she's going to go back on a bike or not.
And with the owner of the company that she's working for into drag racing, yeah, baby.
Yeah. She had that big old Mission logo on the side of it. Because, she had, the last year she raced, Mission was her primary sponsor.
Yep.
And then to see that change happen in her life, and now it's, she's the spokesperson for Mission, not just a sponsored racer of
Yeah.
Mission products.
Oh, it's exciting.
And the people in Brainerd better get excited because she's going to be out there passing out
In the
Mission
zoo
products.
and the parade. I love it. Let's do This Week in Auto History, and let me let my dog in because she's out there
howling.
Yeah, it's hot and she wants in here. So I'm going to do that.
Dad.
So time now for This Week in Auto History.
So in 1898, Scientific American magazine carried the very first automobile advertisement for the Winton Motor Car Company of Cleveland, Ohio, and it invited readers to dispense with a horse and drive a Winton. I thought that was pretty cool, and now it's everybody's so used to seeing all the advertisements for cars. In 1900, Firestone Tire and Rubber Company was established in Akron, Ohio. Jeffrey, where are you? We're talking tires and you're not here. The 31-year-old inventor and entrepreneur Harvey S. Firestone seized on a new way of making carriage tires and began production with only 12 employees. 8 years later, Firestone was chosen as the exclusive provider of tires to the Model T. In 1941, Jeep is born. Parade magazine called it the Army's most intriguing new gadget, a tiny truck which can do practically anything. During World War I, the Army began looking for a lightweight all-terrain vehicle, but they just didn't get it, and it didn't really come out until early 1940 and 1941. And also this week, in 1977, the movie The Spy Who Loved Me, starring Roger Moore as the suave super spy James Bond, known for his love of fast cars and dangerous women, is released in theaters across America. The film featured one of the most memorable Bond cars of all time, a sleek, powerful Lotus Esprit sports car that also did double duty as a submarine. That was pretty cool car.
Yeah, it was.
And then in 2003, the last of 529,464 Volkswagen Beetles were built since World War II. It rolls off the production line in Puebla, Mexico, one of a 3,000-unit final edition run of baby blue Volkswagen Beetles. And the final one was sent to the museum in Wolfsburg, Germany, and can still be seen there today. 21.5 million Volkswagen Beetles over the life of that vehicle.
All I can say is, why did they stop building that? Why? Because they ruined it.
Oh, yeah.
They put the engine in the front. They made it something that it was never meant to be.
Well, I think the original Beetle wasn't going to pass a lot of the crash testing. That was out ahead of it.
But you know what? That easily fixed. Easily fixed.
You got to think some of the original Volkswagens had under 100 horsepower in them.
Oh, yeah.
They were slug bugs is what everybody called them.
But now with turbocharging, you can put you a little inline 4-cylinder turbocharged motor and get up to 200 horsepower out of the thing.
Well,
you don't
you
need
can get that kind of horsepower out of that little flat 4 that they had. There's a lot of people who took those and made some pretty impressive little drag cars.
One of my early times at Houston Raceway Park was going down there just as an observer. I was in high school, and I will tell you that I saw a Volkswagen Beetle that had about a gajillion horsepower fly down the quarter mile.
Oh, yeah.
I was shocked. I had no clue.
A well-done Beetle will shock anybody because if you can get traction, there's no weight to that car, and all the weight's in the back, which is where you want it.
Lifted the wheels off, and away it went. It was just out of there. All right, time now for some of the stories making headlines this week. Recalls. Hyundai Motor and Kia said Thursday they're recalling more than 91,000 newer vehicles in the United States because of fire risks and urged owners to park outside and away from structures pending repairs.
Not in your garage.
Don't put it in there. The recall covers 23, 24 Palisade, 23 Tucson, Sonata, Elantra, and Kona, and the 23 and 24 Seltos, and the 23 Kia Soul Sportage vehicles.
Pretty much everything they sold.
Electronic controllers for the idle, stop, and go oil pump assembly might contain damaged electrical components that can cause the pump to overheat. Dealers will inspect and replace the electric oil pump controller as needed. No, just go ahead and replace it, okay?
Yeah,
I don't want to take the chance.
As needed.
Yeah, as needed.
Yeah. Has your car caught fire yet? No, so it's not needed.
Good answer. Yeah,
I thought so.
Not. Other recalls. Generator fuel hose may cause a gasoline leak in the Ford Transit 2020 to 2023. You've had some experiences with a Ford Transit.
And they weren't good.
They weren't good.
No.
Tell us that story.
Well,
Besides the wreck, not that.
It had the EcoBoost 3.5 in it, and that engine is notorious for what's called cam phaser issues. And my cam phaser noise turned into camshaft carrier problems, so they ended up having to replace the engine in it with like 113,000 miles on it. And it was, I think, by the time it all washed out, it was over $11,000. And Ford said, because we went and asked for help, and Ford said,
we're not helping you.
It's out of warranty. Warranty expired at 60,000 miles. I said, I understand that, but you realize how many people are experiencing this problem. And then after mine, mine was never involved in it. Ford actually come out with what's called a special policy or an extended warranty on that, and would reimburse people up to 50% of their cost of replacing it. So, yeah, I was eligible to get back, $6,000 of the 11,000, but not mine because 2015 was not included in that special policy.
Not good. We got more recalls coming up in the next hour, and so we invite you to stay tuned for that. Time now for a quick break. We'll be right back. You're on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Stay with us.
Everyone at the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In at the Lupe Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, thank you for participating in the best cruise in around, and look forward to seeing you again. You'll hear about the next cruise in date right here on In Wheel Time. Next time you're in the West Houston Energy Corridor area, be sure and stop in at the original Lupe Tortilla Tex-Mex at I-10 and Highway 6, or the Katy location on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard. When passing through Beaumont or College Station, stop in and have Lupe's award-winning beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. There's always a celebration at Lupe Tortilla. Lupe Tortilla founder Stan Holt and his wife Sheila are winning racers on the NHRA drag racing circuit and have a collection of hot rods and classics that everyone appreciates. Look for them at the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In. The date will be announced soon and will once again be held at the Lupe Tortilla Tex-Mex on 99 and Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10 and Katy. We'll give you all the details right here on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show and online. Donations benefit God's Garage. We'll see you then. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The award-winning In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available on the most popular podcast channels out there in 30-minute episodes. We realize our 3-hour live show can be difficult to catch in its entirety, so now you can listen every day to a convenient, fresh 30-minute episode. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Audible, along with a dozen more. In Wheel Time has the most informative automotive guest interviews and new car reviews, along with popular features including Conrad's Car Clinic and This Week in Auto History, along with automotive news headlines. Our live broadcast airs every Saturday, 8 to 11 Central on InWheelTime.com, the iHeart app, and on YouTube. Be sure to say hello when we're broadcasting from the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In, Autorama, and the Houston Auto Show, among others. Now, it's easier than ever to hear about all things automotive all week long. You're invited to join fellow car enthusiasts in becoming part of the ever-growing In Wheel Time Car Talk family. Don't forget those 30-minute podcast episodes on your favorite podcast channel.
From the Sugar Shack World Headquarters, it's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Just ahead, Gabe Shinar, and I know that I've screwed that name up, but we're gonna clarify it with him because Mars was absolutely no help when I asked him earlier.
I sent you something.
I know you did. It was not helpful.
Oh.
Gabe is with Consumer Reports. We're going to talk about EV claimed ranges. how far your EV can go, what the manufacturer says, and
What the reality is.
What the reality is. Not unlike the way it used to be, for the most part, with
EPA mileage.
EPA mileage.
I'm really interested in hearing what he has to say because I never can make those numbers.
Well, he's going to tell us about it. Conrad has the racing calendar and the car clinic, and later we'll discuss the stories making auto news headlines this week. Stay with us for hour number 2 of the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars, King Conrad DeLong. I'm Don Armstrong. Glad you could join us today. Our tire expert and partner in all of this, Jeffrey Zekin, is in the grand state of Michigan.
Enjoying a family reunion.
A family reunion this week. And
Hi, Jeffy.
we know that Jeffy's watching, so there's that. We miss you. Come on back. I know that Mars especially misses you. All right, from automotive news this week, 3 Tesla owners in California on Wednesday sued the automaker in a proposed class action that accuses the company of falsely advertising the estimated driving ranges of its electric vehicles. Lawsuit in the U.S. District Court for the Northern District of California cites a Reuters article published last week that reported Tesla had created a diversion team out in Nevada to cancel as many range-related appointments as possible after becoming inundated with owner complaints. The lawsuit's 3 plaintiffs cite occasions when their Teslas did not achieve close to their advertised ranges and said they had complained to the company without success. James Porter, a Petaluma, California-based Model Y owner, said in the lawsuit that on one trip he lost approximately 182 miles of range despite only driving 92 miles. Yikes! The complaint seeks class action status to represent all persons in California who purchased a new Tesla Model 3, Model S, Model Y, and Model X vehicle. It seeks unspecified damages.
And in typical class action performance is everybody in the class will get $1.75. The attorneys will make $200 million, and Tesla walks away scot-free.
Well, that's a side story that we're not going to get into right here, but joining us now from Consumer Reports, Gabe, how do you pronounce your last name, please? Gabe, are you there? Can you hear us? Can you see us? We can see you, but we don't hear you. So I have a feeling that
I don't think he can hear us.
That he can hear us. So we're going to get to him in just a minute. Darn it. Mars is wearing 5 hats today. And so what are you doing?
Pushing buttons.
Why are you doing that?
We're just trying to get a different.
Push the one that says cut. No, one on this end, third one from the end. There you go.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're trying to get him on the air here.
Yep, he can't hear. He knows he can't hear us.
Okay. Well, as we wait for that, I can tell you that, for instance, I'm going to give you some examples here that was supplied by Consumer Reports. The Ford Mustang Mach-E. Okay? Cool-looking vehicle. An SUV. It's not a Mustang, but that's another story for another day. They claim the official EPA range is 270 miles. If the battery and the car is cold, it only gets 188 miles. If it's a mild condition, it gets 250 miles, and under warm condition, it gets 275 miles.
Mm-hmm. Because the battery performance improves with temperature.
Yeah. Hyundai Ioniq 5.
Ioniq.
Ioniq.
Yes, you are.
I am unique. Official EPA range 256. Cold 183. Mild 245. Warm 254. Tesla Model Y. 326 is the claim for miles. Official EPA range. Cold 186. Mild 252. Warm 274. So even at the best of all of the other automakers, which it's all right in there similar.
Well, I've been to Petaluma. It's never cold in Petaluma.
It's 274 miles, but Tesla claims 326. Volkswagen ID4. Official EPA range of 240. Cold 170. Mild 224. Warm 256.
So somebody's going to sue them over those variances, which
Yeah.
is what I find just insane. You know, all of these people, you know, again, the attorneys are going to get rich and the people are going to get nothing.
It's a battery. It changes with the temperature.
It also changes with time. I mean, can I sue somebody because the battery in my iPhone degrades over time? No. Well, probably could, but no. Am I going to? No, because I understand that a battery is going to degrade over time.
Right.
And because of that, my usage is going to have an effect on the life cycle of
Absolutely.
the battery. So if I'm driving at 60 miles an hour with the cruise control on, I'm going to get better battery life than I'm driving like a wild man at 90 miles an hour like Mars does.
Yeah. Well, this cell phone here, my Samsung Android, I'm almost ashamed to say it now because I've been ridiculed by somebody that we all know. You have an Android? Yes.
Hey, at least you get rid of the flip phone.
I've still got it. It's in the house.
It's the backup, right?
It's the backup. But yeah, the battery life is much shorter now.
Yeah.
It's 6 years old.
Yeah, we just replaced Angela's phone because her battery life got below 80%. And they say that's when you trash it because there's a health indicator in an iPhone to look at the health of your battery. I don't know. We'll have to ask our Consumer Reports guy. Is there a health indicator for battery available in the instrumentation of the EV vehicles? You know, can you look at what your not what your battery life is or what your range is, but what the health of the battery is? You know, its ability to accept and retain a charge and deliver that charge over a period of time.
And you know, the other thing is that, and I've read this, I'm not an expert in battery cars, but I will tell you that from what I have heard and seen is that everybody thinks that, oh, well, the car's perfect. Not all battery packs are perfect.
Right.
And there are failures in battery packs.
Well, especially when you look at a lot of the battery packs are not one battery.
Oh, no.
Some
of them are
series
1,000
of batteries.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, each of those batteries may be the size of a VHS tape, and there may be 400 or 500 of them, and any one of them in the middle that goes bad is not individually serviceable. You have to replace the whole battery pack. Now, there are some companies out there who have come up
I
with.
can vaguely hear the speaker, but I can't make out what he's saying.
Okay, well, I don't know what else to tell. Gabe, can you hear me?
I can hear you very faintly.
Faintly. Well, I don't know how else to help you in that regard.
But we can hear you fine. So
if you can hear us faintly, at least you can hear us.
I have you on full volume here.
Okay, I don't know what to tell you. And Mars has got the wrong headset on.
So I was talking about how on my iPhone, I can look in my iPhone and see what my battery health is. Is there such a screen or a device inside of EV cars to look at the battery health?
Well, not exactly. Some cars give you a display of the battery state of charge as well as the range. The predicted range, but as far as battery health, only third-party outfits can give you that, and even that you have to take with a grain of salt.
So, Gabe, I'm assuming that you can hear me talk to you, and I will tell you that we read a story that Tesla facing California class action status on EV range claims, and the research that you guys have done and your story indicates that all of them are about the same when it comes to the temperature affecting how much range you can actually get out of the batteries for almost all the vehicles except Tesla, who claims their official EPA range of 326 miles, but even with perfect conditions, where the weather is warm and everybody else is at their max, they only get 274 miles. So what was the testing criteria that you guys used? Clearly, temperature is one of them.
So let me start with this. For the record, this is a very different test than the EPA test. So the EPA tests in varied speeds and lab testing. Our test was on-road testing of cruising at 70 miles an hour, which is typical of any kind of road trip, and this is what most people associate with range. So we took 4 popular EVs, the Tesla Model Y, the Ioniq, Hyundai Ioniq 5, the VW ID4, and the Ford Mustang Mach-E, with 3 times, once in frigid weather in February, once in a mild day of April, mid-60s, and another time in typical summer conditions of mid-80s on an August day. So we found that compared to the mild weather of mid-60s in frigid weather, which that day the temperature averaged 16 degrees Fahrenheit, the range took a hit of about 25%, which was common throughout all 4 models. And if you compare it to the warm weather, that hit was 31%, which was actually a surprise. Our expectation was that we were going to get the longest range in mild weather, but we actually got the longest range in mid-80s type weather, even though the AC had to work harder than it had to in mid-60s.
But that kind of performance range variance of the battery is maybe not in the number of range, but even a lead acid battery of a 12-volt battery of a regular car, that battery's performance varies depending on the ambient temperature. So it's not uncommon to see that performance change based on what the ambient temperature is.
Yeah, it's not uncommon. We sought to quantify that difference so people can know what they should expect, because there have been a lot of numbers flying out there. You lose 17%, you lose 34%, but compared to what? You always have to have a baseline. You have to have a nominal range that you want to compare yourself to. So that was the point of our experiment, and I'll just stress that everything was exactly the same. The route was the same drivers, the same regen setting, the same speed, the same setting for the climate control. So everything was completely equal except for the outside temperature.
So do you think that there is the deviation is in the EPA testing for the battery range, or is it in the manufacturers jacking around with the EPA testing?
Well, I can't speak for manufacturers or for the EPA, but there are all kinds of factors that go into the EPA testing, and all kinds of and manufacturers have a role to play. But our goal was to do something that's real world and something that consumers can relate to, because a highway cruise at 70 miles an hour is not something the EPA tests for, and that's what you and I would consider a typical range when we look at traveling to a ski resort in Vermont, or going on a long distance trip from here to DC, for instance.
70 miles an hour down Interstate 10 will put you in the middle lane because you're not fast enough to get out there amongst the big boys.
Yeah. Well, let me say this. I experienced one time at a manufacturer facility on a test track that they were doing, quote unquote, EPA testing on some of the vehicles that they manufactured. Not going to tell you which one. It doesn't make any difference. But they were actual employees of the manufacturer And I was told that the EPA really doesn't actually do the test.
Correct.
They set the criteria.
And the
manufacturer reports those figures not only to the EPA, but that's what they put on the window sticker. Yeah. Is that the same for battery-operated vehicles?
As far as I know, it is largely the same. So there is a collaboration between the EPA and the manufacturers in arriving at that number.
Yeah.
I will say also that there is a city number and a highway number for the EPA, but what consumers see on the sticker is only an overall number, a single number.
So Consumer Report's goal was to come up with a consistent comparative test between those four vehicles with the range of ambient temperatures to show how that variance and deliver that to the public.
That's exactly right.
Yeah, this wasn't about proving anybody right or wrong. It was about here's the data that we delivered and here's how we delivered it, because nobody really knows. And I don't know if Consumer Reports knows exactly what the test criteria is for the EPA numbers as well. You know, is that public knowledge, or is that something that they kind of keep to themselves? Because you got to remember, Volkswagen took a huge hit years ago about jacking with the system on the diesels and how they come up with their EPA fuel mileage numbers, and they paid a huge price for it.
Yeah, it wasn't meant as a commentary about the EPA or about Tesla. It was purely meant as consumer information that would align expectations for anyone who owns an EV and for anyone who is a prospective EV buyer.
I think before you joined us and you could hear us, I read the story that Automotive News had just a couple days ago that Tesla facing California class action on its EV range claims. And as you found out and gave us the information, the official EPA range, 326 miles, when in reality, on a warm day, the Tesla Model Y only got 274 miles.
Yeah. If you look at all the ranges we got and compare them to the EPA, even though it's not apples to apples comparison, then the gap between what the Tesla got to what other cars got compared to the EPA is the widest gap.
Right.
Just for what it's worth, the Model Y, the Tesla Model Y, and the Mach-E were within 1 or 2 miles of range on each one of the 3 runs throughout.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Cold, mild, and warm days. And it was definitely an eye-opener when I saw the official EPA range and what you actually got. Well, Gabe, it's great to talk to you. Sorry for the technical issues that we had early on, but I will tell you that it's very interesting information, and we always love talking to Consumer Reports. And I assume that this particular report is available to the public without having to actually join Consumer Reports on your website.
Yeah, it is available to the public. We published it. We already updated the story twice. So if you just Google Consumer Reports, range tests, it should pop right up.
Okay, consumerreports.org/cars/hybrids. And there you go. Gabe, thank you so much again for joining us today. We appreciate you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. In-Wheel Time Race Card is sponsored by Texas Nostalgia Modified Production.
Yeah, and as we were talking to Angel Sampé before, the next NHRA event is next weekend at Kansas, and then August 17th through the 19th at Brainerd. Then the U.S. Nationals is always Labor Day weekend, and the weekend after that is Maple Grove, Pennsylvania. So lots of stuff going on in NHRA. NASCAR next weekend is the Indy Road Course. The weekend after that is the Watkins Glen Road Course. Interesting to see 2 road courses coming into the championship countdown like that. And then August 26th is the second Daytona race, which used to run 4th of July weekend, but they did that Chicago thing 4th of July weekend instead. So
I really liked that Chicago race.
I liked it. It was a shame that so much of it was rained out. but I thought it was a pretty interesting race.
Right.
Running for their lives. Formula One, the Dutch Grand Prix is the weekend of August the 27th. They're on their summer break right now. Think about that. I get a summer break.
Summer break.
You know,
What the hell is that?
They've always taken a couple of 3 weeks
That's
off in
dumb.
the summer.
Because they think it's too hot.
No, it's Formula One because they're all
And they're all Europeans, and everybody
They're
gets
all
a
prima donnas.
month off all the time over there.
And then the Italian Grand Prix is Labor Day weekend. You don't forget about it.
Forget about
That's
it.
right.
Hey.
Don't
And then
forget about
IMSA is going to be at Virginia International Raceway the 27th of August. IndyCar is at Gateway the 27th of August as well.
Thank you, sir. Jeff is out today on his family vacation up in Michigan. So Mr. Mars is wearing many hats today, and one of them is doing Jeff's feature that he put together for us, 5 most popular drag racing movies.
Now, you can take, and your popular means a lot of different things to a lot of different people, but what we kind of looked at was what that you hear a lot of talk about, a lot of hype about. Now, number 5 that I went with was Heart Like a Wheel. Now, this is the biographical
love that
film
movie.
about Shirley Muldowney. This takes and it goes through her life. It kind of goes through her life story, brings her into the drag racing where she's trying to break into a sport that's dominated by men. Why didn't it cut? There it went. And so she had to, it goes into something about her life. It's not just a bunch of drag cars. Here's a shot of her dragster that she was running Top Fuel. She ran a little bit into the funny car world. And this right here is what I think is her most famous poster. Didn't stop when it was supposed to stop.
Because you got too many damn fingers on the computer, Mars.
You're right.
Oh, here she is with
Absolutely.
the Mustang.
Yeah, this right here is what
I
I
have a
think.
signed poster of that.
I do. I also have one. When she was here and we talked to her in Baytown.
And she says, "You sure you want me to put Love Shirley on there for you?" I said, "Absolutely."
Well, I didn't get the love. But I got the
Love
name.
you, Donnie.
Yes.
So then number 4 is another one that's kind of become a cult for a lot of reasons, and it is Two Lane Blacktop. Now, I found this show rather interesting. It's kind of basically, it's about two guys. And one of them is called the driver. The other is called the mechanic. They don't have names in the show. That's just what they go by. And one of them was James Taylor, and they drag raced their.
James Taylor, the singer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
didn't
he was
know
the
in
driver.
that movie? He was the one who drove the 55.
Oh,
Yeah,
my
he
God.
was the
And
driver.
remember that 55, we had the guy on the show from Keels and Wheels who drove that car in high school because his dad built the car for the movie.
They actually had 3 different cars they used to get that movie made. The main car had a 454, aluminum heads, tunnel rams, twin Hollies sitting up on top of it. So it was a real performance vehicle. It just wasn't sitting there to look cool. And it culminates in a big race between the 55 and a GTO driven by Warren Oates, and they're racing for pinks. And I won't spoil it for you since you seem to have not caught it yet, all of it.
And I think
Don?
that was a 70 GTO Ram Air 4.
Whatever.
Whatever.
It matters to
Number
Pontiac
3.
people.
Now, this is where it starts getting into where box office really makes a difference. American Graffiti came out, and it was about the transition from high school going off to college and a night in Southern California this group of kids went through.
Actually, it was Modesto, California,
Modesto?
which would
What
be
did I
Central
say?
California.
Picky.
Well, just finish the story, for God's
So they
sakes,
go out through the
Conrad.
night, and so it's their escapades. There's 58 Chevys, there's 32 Fords, there's another 55 in it, and this is all centered around Mills Drive-In where they meet up for the weekend and they go off on all their escapades. But it culminates in the big race out on Paradise Road. Oh, yeah, I forgot. Guess who that is?
Suzanne Summers.
That's right.
We all knew that one.
Yes, sir. And it,
She
like I
was
say,
hot.
And she was really cool because that's all you saw was just her face there inside of the car. But it ends up out on Paradise Road in the big race between Milner and Falfa in the 55, and Milner wins, and it's all good like it's supposed to be. Now, then from there, you get into the more serious money where you got Grease. Now, you may think, why is this musical? It's all back in the 50s. But it culminates also in the big drag race from the high school team and their nemesis from the Scorpion Club. They're racing for pinks.
In
And they
the
have the
LA
big
River.
race in the LA River. Yes.
That is Southern California.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
He doesn't spend a lot of time out there. Remember where he's from.
Yeah, that's true.
He doesn't, They don't have airplanes going in and out of Neaterville.
$396 million in the box office on this one. So it was pretty popular, played forever and ever, and is still on TV. Yes. Now you get into, and here's the 40 Ford, the Grease Lightning that they built in the high school shop. What happened to my picture? And this is
Lightning.
And this is the Scorpion car, and then they're racing, like you say, in the L.A. River. Turns into a big race. Then you get to what I think is going to end up being the number one for a lot of reasons, including the box office. Start in 2001 that started off the series of the Fast and Furious. It made $207 million just to kick it off, and now it's up to what, number 42?
Yeah, I think
Fast and Furious 42 or something like that. So, and it's street racers, but it also culminates in the big drag race there towards the end with the 70-mile Charger sitting up on the rear bumper and all this and blown. And it really is the big drag race. And all these movies culminate in the big drag race. And that's where you get it.
And then, but you left out our friend Erica Enders and her life story. That was a Disney movie. What was the name of the movie, Don?
That's it.
It was, but as her as a junior dragster.
Correct. Right. I couldn't find it because I couldn't think of the name of it. So, sorry, Erica.
Oh, well, she's going to.
Well, I'm going to move on because I can't think of it either. But that's fitting for my age. The InWheel Time Car Talk show is available 24/7 through the iHeartRadio app. Just look for InWheel Time Car Talk. We also video stream on Facebook, YouTube, and InWheelTime.com. Podcast at your fingertips. The InWheel Time Car Talk show continues right after this quick break.
Everyone at the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, thank you for participating in the best cruise in around and look forward to seeing you again. You'll hear about the next cruise in date right here on In Wheel Time. Next time you're in the West Houston Energy Corridor area, be sure and stop in at the original Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex at I-10 and Highway 6 or the Katy location on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard. When passing through Beaumont or College Station, stop in and have Lupi's award-winning beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. There's always a celebration at Lupi Tortilla. Lupi Tortilla founder Stan Holt and his wife Sheila are winning racers on the NHRA drag racing circuit and have a collection of hot rods and classics that everyone appreciates. Look for them at the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In. The date will be announced soon and will once again be held at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex on 99 and Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10 and Katy. We'll give you all the details right here on the In Wheel Time Car Talk show and online. Donations benefit God's Garage. We'll see you then. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The award-winning In Wheel Time Car Talk show is available on the most popular podcast channels out there in 30-minute episodes. We realize our 3-hour live show can be difficult to catch in its entirety, so now you can listen every day to a convenient, fresh 30-minute episode. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Audible, along with a dozen more. In Wheel Time has the most informative automotive guest interviews and new car reviews, along with popular features including Conrad's Car Clinic and This Week in Auto History, along with automotive news headlines. Our live broadcast airs every Saturday, 8 to 11 Central on InWheelTime.com, the iHeart app, and on YouTube. Be sure to say hello when we're broadcasting from the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In, Autorama, and the Houston Auto Show, among others. Now, it's easier than ever to hear about all things automotive all week long. You're invited to join fellow car enthusiasts in becoming part of the ever-growing In Wheel Time Car Talk family. Don't forget those 30-minute podcast episodes on your favorite podcast channel.
Live from Studio A, it's the In Wheel Time Car Talk show. Coming up, we hope to talk to racing professor Rodney Rodriguez If not, then I guess we're just going to sit here and twiddle our thumbs. Conrad will have the In Will Time Car Clinic, we hope. And I may or may not bring you this week's automotive news.
And Erica Ender's movie was called Right on Track.
That has nothing to do with the intro to this show.
And it was released in 2003, so this is the 20th anniversary of the movie. Erica, if you're watching, we'd
She's
like to
not
have
watching.
you come on.
She's in Tulsa, so you can forget that.
Okay. Well, she tags in every now and then.
Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars, I'm Don Armstrong.
And you're not.
Jeff's on vacation, and this guy here, Mr. Annoying, Conrad Dog, is here for one purpose and one purpose only, and that is to
Poke Don.
poke me. That's exactly right.
And Jeff's enjoying his family reunion in Michigan. I think they drove to the UP.
Yeah, I don't know the timing of all of that, but I tried to show him some pictures, and I don't want to see that. Okay.
Well,
Fine.
when I worked for General Motors, I used to go to Michigan a lot, and I always kept my return ticket in my pocket with me because if I never wanted to lose it and get stuck there
Stuck where? In the UP?
in Michigan, in Detroit.
Oh, in Detroit. Well, I'll tell you what, if you don't fly Delta into Detroit, you're screwed. Your airport is about a mile and a half away from the
United,
main building.
yeah, United's
Yeah.
kind of in
And they've got one
Terminal E.
Yeah, and they've got one little bitty here's that United people. They're over there. One gate.
Yeah, well, yeah, and you got to check in over here and go through that tunnel underneath all of the runways to
That
get
goes
to the other.
that goes on forever.
Well, I don't know.
But at least they were playing Motown music in the tunnel.
Yeah, well, Atlanta's worse getting around because Atlanta, you got like 4 tunnels, but they got these little trains underground to move you from tunnel to tunnel.
You know, it's funny. When I went on vacation, I did find out the fact that Bush Intercontinental Airport still has that little train that they originally put in there in 1969.
Yeah, the little toll booths all the way in the bottom level.
toll booths.
Yeah, because that little train's about the size of a toll booth.
It is. But I think that they've actually upgraded. No, not upgraded. They changed out the cars. So 1969 technology, it went from 1969 all the way to 1974.
When Austin was a Cub Scout, we took his Cub Scout pack to the airport.
To ride the train.
Well, not only to ride the train, but they took him back in the maintenance department and showed him how it worked, because that's all electromagnetic movement of
Yep.
the train.
Yep.
It's not an electrically driven wheel. There's electromagnets that kind of push the train along. Kind of interesting technology.
Old technology.
Old technology, but still kind of
Yeah,
interesting.
it is.
You know,
And you also used to be able to, before 9/11, you go into the airport, just walk right on in, and they had observation decks
Mhm.
up on the
in the
things out
main
there.
terminals.
in the main terminals, and you could walk up there and watch the planes come in and park and all that stuff. Well, not anymore. That's been gone for a long time, but yeah, back in the day.
Yeah, I actually got in DFW in the tower at DFW one time. A friend of mine worked up there.
I've been in the tower at Hobby.
Have you?
Yeah,
Well, yeah, but
it's interesting.
you're
Connected.
Yeah, you're quite connected. You're
Yeah,
a member of the Broadcast Hall of Fame. I'm jealous.
Racing professor Rodney Rodriguez. There he is right there. Rodney, good morning.
Morning, guys. How's it going?
Can you hear us okay?
I've got to adjust the speaker, but I'll do it in flight. As long as you guys can hear me, I can hear you good enough.
Oh, you're coming in loud and clear. Picture's
Okay.
perfect. Well, I like the ceiling light in your room there that's glowing above your head. Of course, that
Yeah,
may
you
be
like
a
that?
halo that is left, but whatever.
I would tell you this is my office, but it's a formal dining room that I have all my stuff.
So in other words, you took over the dining room. How often do people use dining rooms anymore?
You know, that's what I always in my real estate business. I tell builders because I walk into new homes and it's like this huge dining room, and I'm like, dude, put a closet in there, make it a flex room or something. Nobody going to eat in there. I mean, I've had clients where for closing gifts, I give them like TV trays. I'm like, here's your dining furniture.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I don't know.
Swanson TV dinners.
Oh, yeah. That was great. With the
Absolutely.
aluminum foil on the top. and you
Salisbury steak.
Put it in the oven because there wasn't any
Microwaves.
microwave back then.
I've got 2 of those in the freezer. 2 of those in the freezer. Salisbury steak, corn, and mashed potatoes with the little peach cobbler thing.
Yeah.
Done.
You know what? You really shouldn't tell people that because all I can think of is steaks on the barbecue out back, maybe a big brisket. You got all this time off, big star, radio, television, and stage, screen, all of that stuff. Rodney Rodriguez, and here he is with Swanson TV dinners. Well, mine aren't Swanson. They happen to be Marie Callender's, but right along the same lines. I got 2 of them in there right now.
Chicken pot pies.
Chicken pot pies. And, I will tell you, still today, the best chicken pot pies are the banquets, the cheapest ones there are, because the Marie Callender's, the crust is too thick. I don't like that thick crust. Now,
And Rodney thought he called into a car show.
Hell no.
We've become a food show.
No, this has become the frozen food show.
The cheap frozen food show.
My TV dinner, I mean, mine are banquet, and I'll tell you what, they had the Nighthawk brand,
Yes.
and they were like $4.48.
A lot of money, yeah.
These banquets, man, $1.68. But the whole thing is, like we're talking about, I have to eat 2, because it's that little patty or whatever.
Yeah, uh-huh. Well, see, no, I've never thought of that, but I know that I have not been satisfied with just one, and I have to supplement it with either a bowl
for $2,
a bowl of cereal or something like that.
A salad or something. If you take 2 of them and put both of them on the same plate, then to me it's a little too much.
Take it out of the container. Do you do that?
No, you put it. You set it there to where you can eat it like eating out of dog bowls. You can eat both.
Add a mission tortilla to it or 2.
Now there you go. There you go.
There you go. Those go with anything.
Yep.
I mean, with absolutely anything.
Or 2 hot dogs at the racetrack.
Oh,
Dollar Dog Day.
Oh my
Dollar
gosh.
Dog Day.
Yeah, with those little squeeze packs of mustard, relish, and I really prefer
And
some
the onions have been sitting there in that bowl for 4 months.
Oh yeah,
Fermented.
yeah, absolutely. But then they're real strong too. But you got to have those.
When we were racing in Kyle, I dubbed it was Central Texas Speedway where you get the best wieners in town. And that went over so well because our hot dogs were good. And, the crowd loved that. The crowd absolutely loved that.
Oh, yeah.
In Kyle, Texas, not too far from the Salt Lick over in Buda.
That's right.
One of the best barbecue places around.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind. Now,
But don't tell that to Franklin's up in Austin.
now that we've changed the whole makeup of the show, I'm kind of liking it. And I think it'll probably be more popular and we'll have more viewers and people that we reach every week.
We could start having tastings here. We could have little bowls and some chips, and we could
Instead
have
of
tastings.
in wheel time, at dinner time.
At dinner time, that's exactly right.
Dude,
In wheel time at
wheel
dinner time.
Ghetto food reviews.
That's exactly right. Oh, yes, absolutely. Well, there's something to be said for all of that.
Sponsored by Banquet and Swanson.
And Hebrew National Hot Dogs.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Say Brett's.
Well, that's for you because you're a New Yorker. We don't get that down here. For here, it'd be James Coney Island, which
Good
are going
dogs.
away.
Are they really?
And
Completely?
Wiener Schnitzel is back in town. Apparently, I haven't visited.
We
them.
have a Wiener Schnitzel around the.
Of course, yes. And Mars, Mars.
Yeah, but yours is the original.
Oh,
They haven't updated it yet. It's the Dirty Water dogs. They still have that 40-year-old Dirty Water. They're cooking the
flavor.
dogs.
You have to order those special.
We've got one here in North Austin. Well, I mean, I don't know. It's probably about 12 miles from me. And it's so funny because over here in Austin, in Northwest Austin, they have this fancy thing called the Domain. And it's where, all the, people go shop and, go do it's a cool spot to be rather than downtown Austin. And right as you pull out of there, there's a Wiener Schnitzel sitting right there. It's like, man, that's perfect right there. Perfect.
Do you
I'm
stop
not going to go
in?
eat that high dollar stuff. I'm going to go get a Wiener Schnitzel. Then I'll go to the Domain.
Get a kraut dog.
And Austin's such a foodie town anyhow. There's some good food in Austin.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well,
Great-
hey,
great
listen,
with
it's
TV
great
dinner.
talking to you. Thanks for joining us today.
All right, guys.
God.
So what's going on in asphalt racing in Texas?
Not much.
It's
as
hot.
usual. September 12th, we'll get at it again in Houston. But I do want to talk about with you guys, because actually there's let me look at my calendar. Coming up on August the 19th over at 105 Speedway in Cleveland that I've talked about in the past. They are having Howard Willis. I don't know, Don, you may remember that name. Howard Willis has he's celebrating his 50th year in racing, and the guy's still kicking everybody's tail. He's in his 70s, and he is just tremendous. And on August 19th, they're going to celebrate his 50 years of racing with a big night for him at 105. He'll actually be racing. I mean, he's like contending for a points championship still in year 50. So that's going to be something super cool for folks up that way to go check that out.
105 Speedway, is that owned by the same people that used to own the Gator thing up there in Conroe?
I don't know. I don't know if it is or not, but I'll tell you what, that 105 up there, they are grinders. They race every week. I mean, and that's
a dirt track.
Old school. That's a dirt track.
Is it? How long is the track?
I think it's a quarter mile, if I'm not mistaken.
So
I haven't been there.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's kind of a question we talked about the other day on the phone, Rodney.
Yeah.
How are those dirt tracks doing with all this heat? As far as like drying the track out, and I know they wet them down to start the race, but
that's the struggle that they're finding is obviously you get out there and you're working on it during the week. I mean, because I think that's really the key is to get the moisture into the racetrack, underneath, not just on top. And but it's just, I mean, the heat's, unbearable. And you're seeing the water truck used a lot more. I mean, what's actually happening now is like they'll actually take time during the racing program to stop and actually get out there and work on the track a little more, because it just dries out and ruts up so quick. And I've started to see where tracks are pushing back their start time. I know like Waco, they usually start at 8 o'clock on Friday nights, and now they're pushed to 8:30, and hell, a lot of times it's 9 because they're still trying to get the track in order. I saw a track in North Texas. I think their water is supplemented from, like a stock tank thing that's right near the property. Tank dried up. They couldn't get any water. They had to cancel.
Oh, wow.
So it's a lot. And I'll tell you what again, I overthink things, but it's like, with water conservation and water restrictions and scarcity and water and all that, I keep wondering at the pace that we're going at. I mean, I was watching a trend study this morning where they're talking about, in the next 14 to 21 days, we don't see anything changing. I mean, I wonder if at some point somebody's going to be like, don't be using all this water. So I don't know.
Yeah, because there's already burn bans in a lot of the outlying areas.
Greta No Funberg.
Mm-hmm.
Tell you can't race. No.
You're so wrong. Something happened to your mind many years ago, and it's now just it's trying to come out through your head there.
It's leaking out my ears.
That's what it is.
Yeah, 105 is a quarter mile dirt oval.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But
Can you give me some free tickets?
Oh man, I don't even know those people. I'm gonna try to make it down there though. Howard's a friend of mine. I've watched him race for a lot of years, and
so you're not announcing at that track.
No, I don't know who announces over there. I don't know who announces. I'm gonna go be a fan.
I got you. Okay. Well, you can still buy me a ticket.
Oh yeah, we can meet up there.
He didn't say he'd buy me a ticket, but we can meet up there.
Yeah.
We can go Dutch.
He didn't take the bait.
I'll buy you a ticket.
And he'll bring you a chicken pot pie.
That's right.
That's right.
And just put it under the hood of the car and cook it on the way over.
Don't even need that. Just put it on the aluminum stands and let it sit there and cook throughout during the sundown. Yeah.
That's right.
So, how is the sport of oval track racing in the state of Texas? I know that you announced for several racetracks, and I worry about racing in general because back in my day, it was kind of tough to even find a seat at a racetrack. And I know that it's not been that way, at least any of the tracks that I go to. Even in NASCAR, there's plenty of wide open seating.
Yeah. It's amazing how empty the stands are now.
Texas is healthy when it comes to dirt. I mean, as a matter of fact, I mean, kind of not to throw a pun at you, but with the lack of rain. But to me, dirt's a little oversaturated, to be honest with you, because what you have at this point is, I mean, here, let's take tonight, for example, here south. And I always talk north versus south when it comes to dirt track racing in Texas, because it's definitely two distinct areas, not only in geography, but just in car counts and the way things work out. But down here tonight, you've got two tracks. You've got a track in Pleasanton, which is not quite halfway between San Antonio and Corpus on I-37. You've got that track, and then you've got a track in Edna, which is Texana Raceway Park, and that's a little further east, kind of in that Flatonia area, back out that way, 25 miles this side of Victoria. You've got those two tracks racing tonight, both of them, and those two tracks cater to the same drivers. So that right there, they're splitting that. And again, I understand that the track owners need to try to race as often as possible and do all of that. But and you see the same thing up north, with the tracks up in DFW. But it seems like up there, we got to get back to the cooperation part. I mean, cooperation needs to happen. I don't think tracks intentionally go head to head. It's just a matter of business. But they're doing fine. And obviously asphalt is struggling. Hopefully next year, maybe things will get better here. But I mean, what we're into is what you're talking about, Don, economics. I mean, a lot of people right now, when we talk about empty grandstands and so forth, you want to go sit out in this heat, or you want to?
Oops. What'd you do? Mars, you lost him.
Mars is over there fiddling with the computer, so we don't know why. Is it my internet? It's his. Oh, it's his internet. Well, Rodney, if you can hear us, your internet sucks. Almost as bad as mine does. I was so ticked off, and I've got to interject this. So ticked off. Thursday, I'm at home Thursday.
Home alone.
Pretty much, yes. Home alone. And so at 8:30 in the morning, the internet goes out here at the house. Xfinity again. Thank you. What a worthless company that is, that I pay money to. Why am I doing that? I don't understand why I'm doing that. But at any rate, I do. And it was out from 8:30 in the morning till 2:30, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Just when I was trying to put together the car show. So I had to go through my Verizon cell phone, hotspot, tether, all of that stuff to be able to work on my computer and get everything done that I needed to get done. What? It's like the fourth outage in 6 weeks.
And you don't get any discount when they go out.
No, they could care less.
Yep.
Okay, well, I cut the cord when it came to TV. I cut it. It's gone. $265 a month. Gone. I went to Roku. How much does Roku cost me?
Nothing when you don't have internet.
$5.60 as long as I've got internet. Yeah. So, ticked. Oh, that's not the word for it. I had many other choice words for Xfinity. So
worse
Xfinity,
than a Craftsman torque wrench.
Yes, because the Craftsman torque wrench, that's gone. Thank you, George, for supplying me with something that's decent, as opposed to Craftsman tools that aren't even made in America. They've been made in China for I don't know how many years.
And aren't warranted for life.
No.
Regardless of what they say.
Yeah, well, I found that out. Yeah, no, they're not warranted for life. Ronnie, if you can hear us, I'm sorry. I don't know what happened to your internet. It went the way of my Xfinity account. So, time now for Conrad's Car Clinic. Do you have an opportunity to do that, Mr. Mars? Are you available to do that? Do we need anything over here?
Yeah, you do.
Oh, okay. So Mars is filling in for Jeff today in this back and forth dance that he's doing. And so I'm sorry to have to bother you, but I know that you're busy. But it's about time you did something.
Well, we've been talking about for a couple of weeks now is how an engine is basically an air pump.
Yes.
How much oxygen can you get in it, and how much fuel can you put in it and make it stop? So, last week we talked about turbocharging and supercharging, about forcing air into the engine, and I said, well, there's another way of getting oxygen in the engine, and that is through nitrous, which is basically liquid oxygen. So nitrous oxide's 2 parts nitrogen, 1 part oxygen, and they can enter it into the engine a multitude of ways.
And it's cold.
it's cold, and one of the simplest ways is wrong one.
Don't worry about that. Just
Is one of the
continue on.
simplest ways that's been around a long time is through what's called a fogger. And a fogger is a plate that would fit under old cars, under a carburetor, newer cars behind the throttle body. And then they will just spray the nitrous in there. But when you add oxygen, you better add fuel to go with it. So you got to spray two things.
Why do you say that?
Because if all you do is add the oxygen and don't add fuel, it goes lean, and that's when things burn. It burn a hole in the piston if it goes lean too badly. So, the nitrous systems are going to be adding the nitrous for the liquid oxygen and the fuel so that both of them together are what create the power. And then the complexity of the systems that are out there, the fogger was the easiest one back in my day. Foggers were the way people added horsepower to their car. And you could add 50, 100, 150, 200 shot of nitrous. Relatively easy. And then now...
When you inject that into the engine, is it a constant spray?
When you're on the button, it's a constant spray.
Okay, and that's what you want to set it up for.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then they've advanced the systems to make much more complicated systems where you might have 3 or 4 kits of nitrous on the vehicle. So in this picture you see here, this is an intake manifold they made for the GM LS motor. And actually, that's an LT motor. So this comes, you buy the whole thing, you buy the hose, the nitrous bottle goes in the trunk, and it will apply the nitrous. But everything's all put together for you. All you got to do is
package.
Unbolt one and bolt the other on,
Yep.
and all of a sudden you've got 200-300 horsepower added to your engine. But it's never enough, So some people have got 2, 3, 4 kits of nitrous. 5 and 6 kits of nitrous added to them. And there are some engines out there that they're adding 3,000 horsepower through nitrous systems. And in those nitrous systems, it's got to be able to put enough nitrous and enough fuel in it. So, you talk about on the top fuel cars how it's kind of like a shower head pouring fuel in the engine. Well, on some of these nitrous systems, that's a nitrous system that's spraying right now. It's spraying the nitrous and fuel. So, it's like a shower head. You'll burn through a lot of fuel, but that's probably putting out 600-700 horsepower right there easily. And then they've got systems that put out even more than that. Like I said, there are some systems out there that are putting out, up to 3,000 horsepower on nitrous systems. But you have to make sure your tune is correct, because when you put that much fuel in there, you have to make sure that the air-fuel ratio is correct. Otherwise, you'll burn the engine down.
The only way to do that is on a dyno.
On a dyno with a computer,
Correct.
Yeah, and you can see things that are happening. So they'll add and subtract. And one of the other things that they really have to pay attention to is what the ignition timing is, and that ignition timing change. 2-3 degrees here and there can have a serious impact on how much power that engine's putting down,
or blow it up,
or blow it up, or melt it down.
Yep.
So, but nitrous is another way to help that air pump work. Again, it's just a matter of providing liquid nitrogen, and then nitrous is a colorless gas with a sweetish odor. Not Swedish as in Danish, Swedish and sweet.
Swedish fish,
like Swisher sweet. And it's created by heating ammonium nitrate. It produces an exhilaration or an anesthesia when inhaled. It's also an aerosol propellant, also known as laughing gas. Nitrous oxide can be used as a propellant in various applications of rocketry, but it's also used to make whipped cream. So your little can of spray-on whipped cream, there's a hit of nitrous in there. No, you can't bend it down. If you bend it down, you get the cream. If you hold it straight up and take the hit,
only you with those.
You can get a little nitrous rush out of it. And that's why when you go to the grocery store, all the whipped cream cans are gassed out. But it'll introduce a brief high. But in racing, nitrous oxide allows the engine to burn more fuel by providing more oxygen during the combustion process. There were some techniques used during World War II by the German Luftwaffe that used nitrous on some of their engines that created, that's why that ME-109 Messerschmitt was such a powerful, scary airplane because they had nitrous on it. So when they wanted to go faster, create more power, the pilot would hit the button, and all of a sudden, the nitrous would apply, and off it would go. But nitrous oxide is also used.
Is this a long report?
Yeah, is also used in dentistry to kind of numb the brain a little bit before they go in there and start poking you with
Yes,
the
I know
needles.
about that. I always used to see pinwheels. Pinwheels. When I went under nitrous, I finally told the doctor, I said, I can't do this. It freaks me out too much. Pinwheels.
See, and I thought you would have seen the test pattern at the end, at the midnight.
That follows the pinwheel. Yeah, along with the national anthem and the Lord's Prayer.
So there are various uses for nitrous, but probably the biggest application to it's the automotive. And the difference of the quality of the gas, there's a medical grade gas, and then there's an automotive grade gas. You don't want to be taking big hits of the automotive grade gas. It's not as pure as the medical grade gas. But it is pretty pure in a can of whipped cream.
I have one thing I want to get in here before the top of the hour.
Shut up and let's go.
shut up.
Don, back to you.
Thank you very much. There are a couple of recalls, and if you own a Ford from the 2023 model year, you'll want to know that the instrument panel may fail to illuminate on the Escape, the F250, 350, 450, and 550. And then the front windows may not reverse direction in the Ford 250, 350, 450, 550. And unexpected activation of electric parking brake on the Ford F-150 for 21 through 23. Those are the end of the recalls. And I'm going to talk about the auto workers strike that's pending, and we're going to talk about that.
Thank you, Bidenomics.
Shortly. All right. And that's it for this hour of the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Quick break now. We'll be right back. Stay with us.
Everyone at the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, thank you for participating in the best cruise in around, and look forward to seeing you again. You'll hear about the next cruise in date right here on In Wheel Time. Next time you're in the West Houston Energy Corridor area, be sure and stop in at the original Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex at I-10 and Highway 6, or the Katy location on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard. When passing through Beaumont or College Station, stop in and have Lupi's award-winning beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. There's always a celebration at Lupi Tortilla. Lupi Tortilla founder Stan Holt and his wife Sheila are winning racers on the NHRA drag racing circuit and have a collection of hot rods and classics that everyone appreciates. Look for them at the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In. The date will be announced soon and will once again be held at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex on 99 and Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10 and Katy. We'll give you all the details right here on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show and online. Donations benefit God's Garage. We'll see you then. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The award-winning In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available on the most popular podcast channels out there in 30-minute episodes. We realize our 3-hour live show can be difficult to catch in its entirety, so now you can listen every day to a convenient, fresh 30-minute episode. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Audible, along with a dozen more. In Wheel Time has the most informative automotive guest interviews and new car reviews, along with popular features including Conrad's Car Clinic and This Week in Auto History, along with automotive news headlines. Our live broadcast airs every Saturday, 8 to 11 Central on InWheelTime.com, the iHeart app, and on YouTube. Be sure to say hello when we're broadcasting from the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In, Autorama, and the Houston Auto Show, among others. Now, it's easier than ever to hear about all things automotive all week long. You're invited to join fellow car enthusiasts in becoming part of the ever-growing In Wheel Time Car Talk family. Don't forget those 30-minute podcast episodes on your favorite podcast channel.
From Studio A at the world-famous Sugar Shack in Texas, USA, it's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Coming up, Tim Mahaffey, president of the Lone Star Jeep Club, we hope is going to join us because, once again, thank you, Xfinity, for the hit that we took. I'm telling you, I'm going to get rid of them, and I'm going to write a nasty letter. I got a friend of mine that works for them, and I'm going to write a nasty letter. Not him.
Reference the friend.
No, I'm going to write it to him and let him deal with it because I'm going away. It's been a nice date, but I'm done with these people. We got upcoming.
At least you got screwed.
We've got the upcoming events calendar. I'm sore too. Mars reviews the new Kia Soul GT. Plus, you'll hear about the stories making automotive news headlines. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars, who's too busy to even do anything else other than what he's doing. King Conrad DeLong. I'm Don Armstrong. Jeff's on vacation. Family reunion up in Michigan. He'll be back with us again next week. Okay, I did want to do a story, and this is probably a good time to do it while Mars is trying to get the guest on from the Lone Star Jeep Club. UAW, United Auto Workers, seek more than 40% wage gains from the Detroit 3, sources say. This is from Automotive News. The gains would include a 20% raise upon ratification. I'd like a 20% raise. Followed by 5% raises each year of the 4-year deal, according to the people who requested anonymity discussing the negotiations. I didn't do it. It wasn't me. I didn't squeal. UAW seeking from the Detroit 3 automakers a more than 40% pay raise for its workforce. Jeez. UAW President Sean Fain, speaking to Automotive News earlier on Thursday, said, the CEOs of the Big Three over the last 4-year agreement have enjoyed a 40% increase in pay on average. So
Mary Barra makes $29 million a year.
So I don't think
options.
our workers asking for their equitable share, when inflation's gone up almost 20% in the last 4 years, I don't think that it's asking a lot for our members to look for their fair share.
Thank you, Bidenomics. Their cost of living goes up.
How about the CEOs?
And the
40%
probability is
raise.
they voted for them because they're in Detroit.
Fain on Thursday also told Automotive News the union would seek a 32-hour work week with 40 hours worth of pay. Okay.
Yes, and the cost of your car is about to go up.
Yeah, not only that, but
and you're going to get less of them.
Yeah, and if there's a strike, you know, all of the inventory that they've been begging to have on their lots, there's a big nosedive.
Takes a nosedive,
right,
which means the price of cars is going to go up again.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
that ain't good.
And you know what? Mary Barra still makes $29 million a year.
That really annoys you, doesn't it?
Absolutely drives me out of my mind.
Okay.
And she got a raise last year.
Yeah. The Detroit 3 automakers aren't the only ones worried about contract talks with the UAW. The entire automotive supply chain is sweating the potential of a strike because what most people don't realize is that car manufacturers actually don't manufacture the parts for the most part.
No, it's components.
Right. And they're assemblers.
Right.
They assemble the components. So all of the millions of people that supply parts for the automotive manufacturers, assemblers, they will be affected as well. For the larger Tier 1 suppliers, a halt in vehicle production would result in millions of dollars in financial losses in short order, according to the companies. This from Automotive News. Some suppliers have tightened up spending and baked potential losses into forecasts for the second half of the year. Lear, the global seating supplier, has painful memories of the GM strike in 2019. The 6-week work stoppage will, which cost the automaker about $4 billion all told, cost Lear $70 to $75 million each week.
And Mary Barra still got $29 million a year.
Let that go. We got it. We get it. And the other big news of the week that I wanted to get in, remember the ship fire I told you about 2 weeks ago?
Yep.
Well, actually last week. Rolls-Royce has a number of vehicles of its super luxury cars aboard the ship that went up in flames off the Dutch coast a week ago. While both BMW and Mercedes-Benz have confirmed they have several hundred cars on the Fremantle Highway, that's the ship's name. Neither have offered specific breakdowns by brand or model. Around 5 a.m. on Thursday, the Fremantle Highway started to be towed to Eemshaven, which is a seaport in the north of the Netherlands. The Fremantle Highway's cargo loss is estimated at more than $330 million.
See, and that's a tie-in to my auto history story of the Lotus submarine. All these cars are going to become submarines.
Yeah, well, they're towing it. So apparently, they're towing it out of the shipping lane. They're hoping to get it to a port.
Because it's a burned hulk.
That's all it is. Have you seen a picture of it?
Yes.
Ooh, it's scary. Charter company K-Line said Friday there were 3,783 vehicles on board the ship, including 498 battery vehicles, significantly more than the 25 initially reported.
You mean the government lied to us? No, I wouldn't assume they would ever lie to us.
Welcome to the Bitter Man's Hotline here on the In Wheel Time.
And
Car
Mary
Talk.
Barra is still making $29 million, and they're going to screw the union.
Moving on. You know, I like to do these Hemmings Motor News Marketplace. They sell cars through an auction or, whatever the case may be. But Sold Cars Roundup is the headline. Usually comes on Sunday afternoons. So here was one that sold. Beautiful 1976 Cadillac Eldorado. Probably one of the prettiest Cadillacs they ever made. Convertible.
What a boat. Last year for the convertible.
Convertible. It was red. It's beautiful. I'll show you a picture. 32,000.
I was going to say 25.
32,129 sold at auction. Here's one that kind of surprised me. A 1969 AMC AMX. You want to guess?
Cool car.
Cool car, yeah.
I say
It had no back seat.
No, it didn't. It was a two-seater.
Yeah.
I'd say in good shape, probably about 40.
33.6. Yeah. Nice car. Here is another Cadillac, the Alante.
Oh, gosh.
Mike, you know that your microphone is on when you do that. It's really loud.
And depending on the year of the Alante, what a pile.
A 1990 Cadillac Alante. It sold for
$6,000.
$3,500. Beautiful car. I liked it.
You know, when Cadillac originally sold those, they came with a guarantee of resale value equal to the Mercedes SL of the same generation.
Which is what they were competing against at the time.
Well,
and it was built at the Corvette factory.
Yeah.
And it has Corvette components under the skin.
On the Alante, not really.
No?
No, the XLR was Corvette.
Okay, sorry.
The Alante was actually built in Hamtramck, and it was, to a large degree, a lot of componentry was coming out of the Seville.
Oh, I'm sorry. I mixed that up.
Yeah. But the XLR was C6 Corvette.
Well, here's another Cadillac. This would be for Jeff. A 1991 Cadillac DeVille. Is that the 468-864 engine?
91?
91.
Yeah, could be.
Ooh.
You know, that engine was so useless you couldn't even use it for a boat motor because it wasn't heavy enough. It was all
You mean a boat anchor?
Boat anchor.
Yeah.
Boat anchor.
Yeah, boat anchor. But you know what? I would think that you'd be able to put you some sort of a nice V8 in that thing.
Like Jeff said, put an LS in it and tub it.
Tub it out, yeah. Sold for $4,500. Beautiful car. Matter of fact, I think that I had one. Mine was a Coupe DeVille.
So 2 Cadillacs for under $7,000.
Yeah.
The Alante and the DeVille.
And
between the two of them, maybe you could make one of them run.
And Mary who?
Mary Barra still makes $29 million a year.
1977 Chevrolet Corvette. Dear to my heart, had absolutely no horsepower. This is a yellow one. It looks like it doesn't even. Does it have? It looks like it's got trim rings and center caps. So it was a base model, it appears.
$6,000.
$12,000.
That's a lot.
It is a lot for that car because it had no horsepower. Of course, this is not an L82. It didn't have the Gymkhana suspension. It had nothing other than.
But it's still a Corvette.
Yeah.
And for that, it carries value.
Yeah.
To somebody.
I loved the car when I bought it. I ordered it, bought it brand new in October of 1976. Ordered it from the factory. Took forever to get here. Anyway.
Through Richardson Chevrolet?
No. Actually, I bought it at Peacock Chevrolet.
Which is now
It's Mac Hike.
Mac Hike, yeah.
64 Chevrolet El Camino.
Love it.
Squared, boxy kind of car. Man, I used to think that thing
Probably
was
a
the
283.
bomb.
Probably a 283.
Now, it's painted an ugly color. It's kind of that champagne brown, beige, whatever you want to call it. Want to guess how much they got for it?
14.
$26,250.
Might have been a nice car.
It could be. I mean,
At that price, it better be a nice car.
yeah, exactly. I don't know all those details. I got one for you.
An Oldsmobile?
A 1963 Oldsmobile Starfire
Cool car.
convertible.
Very cool car.
Hey, can you hear me okay?
Oh my gosh, I can hear somebody, and we're going to get them on the air here in just a minute.
Yeah, the Starfire was Oldsmobile's version of the Pontiac Grand Prix, kind of the performance B-body boat.
And it's in that light pink. It's got a gray stripe down the. It looks
It's
beautiful.
a stainless steel panel.
Oh my God, it's beautiful. Sold price is your turn.
18.
$29,400.
Yeah, you can actually get that with 394 cubic inch. You said 63?
Yeah.
I think you could still get the dual quads in it.
That's really romantic and all for us car guys.
But it was
Dual
a performance
quads.
motor.
I know, but what a pain in the butt that is. 2 carburetors. You
But
ever try-
they weren't Rochester Quadrajets.
What doesn't make any difference? 2 carburetors. Tune a car with 2 carburetors on it. Hell, I can't even tune it with 1, much less 2.
True. Cool car, though. Starfire.
Oh, my gosh. Here's one for you. A 1947 Chevrolet Stylemaster, painted bright red. It's a 2-door car. Okay? And they've got wide whites on it.
Is that the fastback?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would be interested in this. Seriously, I would. A 1947 Chevy Stylemaster, it sold for $21,000.
And it had a trunk you could carry 15 Jimmy Hoffas in.
Pretty much. And, put some AC in it. And
Yeah, because it wasn't available back then.
now, well, you know that. Put some AC in it and just a regular plain Jane LS motor in it for reliability. Put you a nice, 6-speed automatic transmission in it. Fix it so you could get it all in there. What a cruiser that would be. Stunning. Sold for $21,000.
Not bad.
57 Metropolitan.
Oh, gosh.
I thought that car was ugly when it was new. It's even uglier today. $7,000. 2007 Ford Shelby.
2007?
2007 Ford Shelby. Doesn't say 350, 500, none of that.
Oh, I'll say something north of 50, maybe in the 70s.
$89,000. Are yours, 2007 Aston Martin DB9.
2007?
Yeah,
30 grand.
$42,000.
It's
I know,
amazing the depreciated value of some of those $100,000 cars of the 80s and 90s.
Yeah.
You can buy cheap.
But some of the cars that I mentioned, like that 42, I'd buy that car tomorrow. It's in my price range. Ron Mahaffey is and he is the president of the Lone Star Jeep Club. Ron, sorry about the problems that we had getting you on today. I know that you called in early, and you also is he there, Mr. Mars?
Yep. Can you hear me okay?
We can hear you, but we just can't see you. Can we see him now? Oh, he's got guests with him.
Yes.
So I'll let you go ahead and handle this, Mr. Morris, since you're.
So Tim, sorry about that. We had a little technical difficulty earlier, but we're here now. So who you got with you?
We have Drew Berg, a couple of members with me, outstanding members of the club. Drew Berg, just FYI, he is one of the guys that has a 392. You might be interested in talking to him. And then Bobby McCracken is part of our club as well. So, hey, first of all, I want to thank you for having us on this morning. We really appreciate the opportunity to talk, and we could talk probably for 3 days about Jeeps.
Well, we know that. Yeah, we're Jeep people too. They actually got our show going in the early days, and we appreciate all that they do. And Jim Morrison with Jeep, great guy, and yeah, if you've never met him, you need to take the time to meet him. He doesn't go to many car shows, and I don't know exactly where you are, but if he's going to make an appearance at the Houston Auto Show this year, it would behoove you to meet him. Great guy, and get some insight on your Jeep brand. So I assume that everybody's got Wranglers.
Wranglers, CJs across the board. So, and some buggies. So we don't care what you have as long as it's a Jeep. So, yeah.
Now you are a statewide club. Is that correct?
We are, yeah. So we're primarily in the North Texas area here in Dallas, but we have members. Drew actually moved to Missouri, so we're extending into Missouri now. But yeah, we're a statewide club, but primarily we're based in Dallas. But we wheel all over the state and beyond.
Did you guys have anything to do with the Go Topless weekend down there at Crystal Beach?
No. Some of our members went there, but that wasn't an LSJC sponsored event.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say. You know, it's too much mayhem, and that's not what the Jeep clubs that I am aware of are into.
Yep. You're exactly right.
So
yeah, we believe in that too.
Where up there on the north side do you guys, what you call wheel? What kind of locations are available for you to go Jeeping in?
Well, we've got a place in Oklahoma, Crossbar. It's in Davis. We do a Polar Express run there in January. The picture you see in the Zoom background is a picture of our ride we had there in January. So you can see we have quite a few Jeeps in that line. So we go to Crossbar, we go to Bridgeport, we go to Barnwell Mountain Recreational Area out in Gilmer. We go down to Hidden Falls. We're going to Mares, a new up-and-coming park that's phenomenal up around Amarillo. We do Katimsi Rocks, Claymore up in Oklahoma, and then we go beyond. Like this year we went to Moab in the spring, and Maris, and next year we're headed to Windrock, Tennessee in the fall. So,
did your club kind of caravan to Moab as a group? Because I know that's one of the Jeep holy grail places to go.
Yes, we did. Yeah, we caravan as a group. We spent. Drew was with us, so Drew could probably talk a little bit about it too. But not long enough. 7 great days in Moab.
Well, as much as I would love to talk about that, I'd rather talk to Drew about his 392 in that Jeep Wrangler, bud. Wow, that thing's nuts.
It's a lot of fun.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
a lot of fun.
Believe me, I had one time out of the press fleet, and I'm going, I wish I'd have thought of that.
I wish Jeep had done it sooner. It's something everybody had been asking for quite a long time, and it's an absolute riot. Even with about 400 pounds of steel and 37-inch tires, it's still plenty fast for a 6,000-pound suicide machine that it is.
Well, I will tell you this. My thought immediately goes to anybody that and this is not a put down of the V6 or the 4s or any of the old engines, but this, sir, is one of those that you need to order the kit. If there's not a kit, then you need to make one yourself. Buy the engine. Just buy the engine. Put it in the corner if you don't have anything else to put it in, but preferably a Wrangler, because that's my cup of tea.
It is a lot of fun. I do not regret it. And if anything, I wish I had bought one sooner, even Hemi swapping sooner.
Now, forgive me because I'm really not up to date on the latest and greatest from Jeep, but do they still offer the 392?
They do still offer the 392. It's out for the 2024 model, which has the mid-year recycle with like the new infotainment screen and all the big stuff on it. And there's actually dealers out there right now that are doing up to $7,000 off MSRP if you order through them.
$7,000 off of MSRP as opposed to $7,000 over MSRP. That's interesting.
Yeah, or you could go buy a Bronco and pay over $105,000 for it and have the 0 to 60 speed of like a Honda Odyssey.
And still not have a Hemi.
and I'm not going to say anything, but I just got out of one.
Got out of what?
A Rubicon 392.
Yeah. Well, why aren't you going to say anything, Mars?
Because I was waiting to needle you a little bit more about it.
I'm thinking, oh my God, he's gotten more tickets on this.
No.
Just saying.
So do they still do the, was it a Trackhawk version?
You know, that's a good question. I don't know. I haven't actually seen one in several years.
Yeah,
That's in the other Jeep vehicles like the Renegade and stuff like that. You'll see the Trackhawk badge on the back.
Well, the
Trackhawk
Trackhawk is the supercharged 6.2.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a Hellcat motor.
Yeah.
Now, the 392, it's interesting because I'll tell you a little story. I think they call it the Super Bee. Is that what it was? Didn't they label it as the Super Bee in the Challenger or Charger,
yeah.
whatever it was?
Yeah.
And it came with a 6-speed manual transmission. And that combination was just perfect for moi. I will tell you that because, everybody wants the supercharged engine. And granted, I get it. I'm all over it.
But it's a lot.
It's too much for the street, in my opinion. And granted, I'm an older guy now. When I was in my 20s and 30s, it would have been la, 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 yeah, oh, great, let's get that. But the 392 just seems to fit really well in my lifestyle.
Well, like Drew said, it drives real well. It's extra weight up front. And surprisingly, going down at my highway speeds, even with a 14 gear, it was a nice driver. So Bobby, what do you got? You're sitting over there kind of quiet.
I'm a simple man. I've got a two-door 2018 JL with the 6-cylinder in it.
That's the inline 6, isn't it?
No, V6.
I love it to death. It's the V6.
Okay.
The Pentastar V6.
So what do you guys think about the new inline 6 that they're going to offer? No comment from anybody.
I like the old inline 6 they offered.
Yeah, the old inline 6 was amazing. I don't know. I think the jury's out on that one, but I'm like Bobby. I'm running the minivan engine in my JL, but yeah.
Well, I think back in 1980, I bought a brand new Jeep that had a Pontiac 4-cylinder in it. Do you remember those?
The Iron Duke.
I don't think they're old enough.
Or the
Okay.
Iron Puke.
All right,
That's
thanks.
definitely before my time.
Okay, well,
It was pretty useless.
I'm not sure I had a license back then. Yeah,
and thanks for playing Shut Up, Don Armstrong.
As we go back into the Jeep archives.
Yeah.
From way back when. World War II, as a matter
So
of fact.
do any of you guys do any of the competitions, the rock crawling competitions with your Jeeps?
No, mine's a daily driver, so I'm not risking that. But another member and I were talking about doing the 24 Hours of Hell, trying to get a sponsor for that to do that at one point. So, but we don't. I haven't done any of that.
Now wait just a minute.
Yeah, back up.
Did you say the 24 Hours of Hell?
Yes.
Well, please fill us in.
It's an event. And you get a lot of, it's very technical. It looks like a lot of fun. And it's 24 hours, you and a partner and a small pit crew have 24 hours to get through all these obstacles. And we're not talking about dirt roads. We're talking about some technical things to get over. It looks like a lot of fun. If you break something, you've got to wear a pink helmet. If you get winched out, you've got to wear a pink helmet. And then, at the end, you get your prize money and stuff. But it looks really cool.
So what is there a club or organization that puts this on?
Yeah, I think it's called 24 Hours of Hell. I can go send that to you. But yeah, they've been doing it for quite a while.
And where is it held?
On various places. I think last year or the year before it was in Oklahoma.
That's appropriate.
Mars has connections in Oklahoma, and that wasn't a put down. It's just that he can relate.
Yeah. So we have to check that out. We're going to check that out. So before we run out of time, are y'all located together since you're a statewide group, or are y'all scattered out, the three of you?
Drew's in Missouri, but Bobby and I are in Dallas.
Okay.
Do you ever make it?
I'm on the other side of Dallas from Tim.
Yeah, the other side of Dallas.
The other side of Dallas.
Yeah. Y'all ever make it down to Houston? Y'all ever do anything down here with the Jeep clubs?
I know we have some members from Houston.
Yeah, there's some members from Houston. The closest we get to Houston is Hidden Falls. That's around the Austin area, but we don't really get down to Houston. But I mean, I've been to Houston.
What happens in Hidden Falls? I've never even heard of that either.
Oh, that's a great part. Yeah.
It's a big off-road park up there.
Outside
of Marble Falls, actually.
So you guys,
right outside of Marble Falls on that east side of Marble.
so y'all's fun is this slow events, the rock crawling, the
Technical type
the
event.
technical type
Yeah.
of stuff. Yeah, that's fun. So apparently you bring a spotter with you.
We're all spotters.
We're all spotters. Yeah. One thing about this club is everybody helps everybody out on the
Sure,
show. So,
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's relatively typical of the Jeep community is, you want to do some upgrades on your Jeep. Let me invite, club members over. I'll bring some adult beverages and everybody sits around and helps do the upgrades up until the adult beverages are fully consumed.
Well, I'll tell you, we had back when I was a member of the of the Texas Auto Writers Association, the fall event. Kimberly Schultz with Chrysler would always bring at least one or two Wranglers. One of them got put into the river that went through the park.
Oh, yeah, I remember
but
that.
the other one, they had a really tough rock crawling section that in this particular area where we were, you went up and then you made an immediate left and an immediate left again. It's kind of like a big U-turn up over a rock. And everybody loved that thing. And they had to have a spotter there because if you got just a little bit off by a couple of inches, you would have had a big gash down the side of the body of that thing, even if you had rock rails on it. That's your cup of tea out there.
That's it. Yep.
Yeah.
Sign me up.
Yep. You fix it, go out, break it, come back, fix it. We've got scratches on our Jeep. I'm running underneath set of axles. Bobby's done upgrades, just to rock crawl. So yeah, it's not we go past them all. So
Yeah.
Well, and then there's so much aftermarket accessories and upgrades available for the
Oh
Jeep
my
product.
gosh,
It's
yes.
kind of mind-boggling
Yeah.
as far as how much is available to upgrade your Jeep.
So do you guys have a connection with any one Jeep club here in the Houston area?
we have some members actually in Houston as part of our club, so we don't have any connections with other Jeep clubs in Houston.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay, well, we're going to reach out to you guys. You have a website or you got a Facebook page?
Yeah, we have a Facebook page, Lone Star Jeep Club group is our Facebook group, and then we have a Facebook page as well. We also have a website, lsjc.org.
Yeah, I've already posted that on our social media.
Yeah.
Well, it's great to talk to you guys, and we appreciate. We're sorry again for the delay in getting you guys on, but the stupid Xfinity people, which I won't be dating much longer. They're going to go away, but we'll blame it on them this morning.
Yeah.
But gents, it's great to talk to you guys.
Hey, thanks for having us on. We really appreciate
Thank
it.
you, guys.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Oh,
Technology's just not our friend
yeah.
today.
Well, that's just kind of a stand-up little thing here. Okay. Hey, if you'd like to get in touch with us, if you can, shoot us an email. The address is info@inwheeltime.com, and be sure to follow us on Facebook. Quick break now. We'll be back with more right after this quick break.
Everyone at the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, thank you for participating in the best cruise in around and look forward to seeing you again. You'll hear about the next cruise in date right here on In Wheel Time. Next time you're in the West Houston Energy Corridor area, be sure and stop in at the original Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex at I-10 and Highway 6 or the Katy location on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard. When passing through Beaumont or College Station, stop in and have Lupi's award-winning beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. There's always a celebration at Lupi Tortilla. Lupi Tortilla founder Stan Holt and his wife Sheila are winning racers on the NHRA drag racing circuit and have a collection of hot rods and classics that everyone appreciates. Look for them at the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In. The date will be announced soon and will once again be held at the Lupi Tortilla Tex-Mex on 99 and Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10 and Katy. We'll give you all the details right here on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show and online. Donations benefit God's Garage. We'll see you then. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com.
It's the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Coming up, our monthly visit with author and well-known car professor Jack Nerad. Later, a look at the automotive headlines this week, if we get time to get them in there. We're going to do the events calendar, and Mr. Mars has his Kia Soul review we're going to put in this segment, so stay with us. Howdy, along with Mike out of this world, Mars, King Conrad DeLong. I'm Don Armstrong. Jeff's on vacation this week. He'll be back with us next week. We miss you, Jeff. How bad do we miss him?
Oh, we're bad. Jeff, I owe you big time.
Yeah, well, just remember that. It comes up in dollar signs, and I'm sure that Mr. Mars will gladly pay you to come back.
Next time I'll give him 2 quarters.
2 quarters, that's it. All right. Joining us now, author, professor of cars, trucks, SUVs, electrics. His name is Jack Nerad. Jack, it's always good to see you, my friend. You're looking good. How are you?
Terrific to see you guys. Thanks so much.
Well,
thanks for having me.
Thank you, as always. By the way, apparently Mars got your gift package of the books, Dance in the Dark, Jack's latest foray into novels, and we're looking forward to digging into that for you there, Jack.
I hope so. I look forward to your criticism, Don. I want to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, well,
Don was looking for the pictures.
Yeah, he flipped through it real quick.
Yeah.
I think the cover photo is probably the best picture in the whole book.
Well, I have to tell you,
I think it's the only picture.
Yeah, well, there's that. So, Jack, how are things out there in sunny California?
Crazy. They continue to be crazy, but we're working through a bunch of different things. One of the things in California that I found interesting recently is there is an agency in California, a state agency. I wasn't aware of this state agency that looks at privacy issues, and they're looking at cars as a possible source of privacy problems, because when you stop and think about it, your car is collecting a bunch of data about you all the time, and what most people don't realize is the car companies are keeping that data a lot of the time, and that can be accessed potentially. So, if you've got an in-car camera that's looking at your face to make certain that you're, paying attention, that might be captured.
Well, let's just hope that it's only your face that they're looking at.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there's a lot of things people privately do in their cars that, they probably would rather not have other people see, right?
And GM OnStar has been collecting data for decades.
Yeah, exactly. So, some of it is collected like Google would collect or like Apple would collect, just to market to you and do all of that kind of thing.
Well, the first time I heard of this sort of thing, we were up visiting Lingenfelter.
Oh, yeah.
And in his collection, he had a Bugatti and a Veyron. And I said, well, boy, that's really a neat car. He says, yeah. We got to be careful what we do, because the instant that you turn it on, it is in touch with the factory, and the factory, quote unquote, is looking at the engine and all of the components in the car to make sure that everything is okay. Sure, they are. But that was the first insight into that. I had no clue that was even available. But from now, I understand it's available. Not available. It's on almost every car that is available for sale.
Yeah. And there's some cars that are collecting, they have cameras outside. Obviously, you use that for blind spot and those kind of things. But even when the car is parked, they're collecting data on people just walking by and video on people just walking by. I think the Dutch authorities got after Tesla for that because they were passing them around within Tesla. Oh, look at this. This is a good one. Check this out. Pretty bizarre stuff.
Well, see, that's what I would do. I'd go over to your desk and say, Jack, oh my God, you're not going to believe what I've run across today. Check this out.
Well, exactly. It's kind of like people using the Google Earth video or the Google Earth pictures, and because every now and then I'll get one from somebody. Hey, check this out, and here's Gumby in a Google Earth picture at some street address somewhere.
That they passed by while they were taking the picture.
Well, the people knew the Google Earth truck was coming by or car was coming by.
They were outside,
right
about them. So, Jack, I want to know, we had a story, we had Consumer Reports on earlier on our show talking about this, and it's a lawsuit out of California about a group suing Tesla because they say that the car gets whatever it is, 350-mile range, and in true form, actually the real mileage in a warm condition is like 100 miles less than that. What have you got on that?
This might really blow up. I mean, we've been talking about that on America on the Road, the radio show that I do, because in a way, this has a lot of symptoms of Dieselgate, right? What Volkswagen did and what some of the other manufacturers did to manipulate things in their favor, right?
Right.
And it sounds like this is all alleged. This is not proven. This is not proven in court. But there's the possibility that Tesla has kind of rigged the system in its favor. And what they're suggesting is a lot of times the car will give you a more optimistic prediction of what your range is going to be than what it really is going to be.
Yes.
And it gives you a warm feeling about the car, but then you're kind of, your hopes are dashed, right? Right when you're, oh boy, I'm barely going to make it to the next supercharger situation. So this could be a big deal because they're alleging this, and they're alleging that there is money that has been lost by the consumers because they bought a car that actually has lower range than they were led to believe.
Well, and my opinion is class action lawsuits are about making attorneys rich. The members of the class make very little. Look, somebody's now suing Taco Bell because there's not enough meat in their Mexican pizza. They're all looking for who's got the pockets, and they want to go sue somebody who's got the pockets.
Right, and I know that this group of lawyers is looking for other plaintiffs, right? Other people to join the suit. They'd love to have, hundreds, if not thousands of Tesla owners, because that would just make the pot bigger.
Jack, one article I read, and I don't remember exactly where I read it, talked about how they test the EVs, and they usually put them on a dyno. They set the speed at 50 miles an hour, which is what I thought was kind of weird, and they just let it run until the battery goes dead. And when the battery goes dead, they recharge it, and they do the test. I think it said 3 times. And they take that average, and that's where they come up with the mileage. They don't take any account that it's 148 degrees out here in East Texas. Right. They don't take into account that it's 40 below in Montana, or that somebody's driving 80 instead of 50. And I thought, how can you even expect this to be even close if you've got it under such controlled conditions that nobody uses?
Right. Well, it reminds me of the early days of the fuel economy numbers that were way off. And then they had to adjust that significantly because they were, 25% higher than they should have been, that kind of thing. So I think they're still honing in on what range really is in an electric vehicle. As you point out, when you have extremes to temperature, either way, and you're using either heat or air conditioning and other factors, it's going to knock down your range big time, and that can be a big problem.
Well, Jack, I was telling everybody that, there was several years ago that I went to a test track facility for one of the manufacturers, and there were some cars out there on the test track. I said, oh, what are they doing? Oh, well, that's the EPA getting the mileage for the cars. And I said, oh, well, what's it like to have government employees? And they said, oh, no. That's not the EPA government people. That's our people. We just supply them with the numbers. And I was kind of blown away by that. It wasn't an EPA person in there. They just go by the rules that are written by the EPA to perform the test.
Contractors.
Exactly. There's some auditing done probably. Every now and then they'll pull a vehicle and and EPA will actually see if it's matching up. But it's largely up to the manufacturers to provide the data, and that's what they draw the EPA numbers from.
Yeah. So what have you driven lately that sets you up and goes, oh, I really like that car?
Yeah, I had a couple recently. I got a chance to drive the 2024 Mustangs, the GT and the EcoBoost recently, and those are really nice cars. In that old kind of, this is just a good car, good value kind of way. I like them a lot. I like the way they look. I like what they've done to the interior of the vehicles. A little more horsepower for each of them. GT is very old school with a V8 engine. The EcoBoost has a turbocharged 4-cylinder engine, so you can get that. I think they've done a good job. And of course, it's good to see the Mustang stick around, right? With Camaro leaving us at the end of the year.
Again,
as his Challenger.
Yeah, exactly. Those kind of cars going away. So nice to see that Ford has renewed that vehicle.
Well, I'm interested in the EcoBoost 4-cylinder. That's over 300 horsepower, isn't it?
Yeah, 315 horsepower. I think they upped it 5 horsepower for this time around. We drove it in the hills above eastern Los Angeles, hills, kind of mountains, I guess, San Bernardino Mountains. Had a blast. Very torquey car. I think it's got more than 325 pound-feet of torque, peak torque, which is, quite good, and it's available fairly low in the RPM band, so, very flexible engine. It's a pretty good performance car. I mean, I like the more horsepower of the GT with the V8 engine, but at the same time, you can get an EcoBoost for something like $35,000, $40,000. It's really a pretty good performance car. Pretty satisfying.
Yeah. Would you recommend something like that for a 30-year-old girl that really is dying to get in a Mustang?
Yes, I absolutely would.
You would?
Absolutely would, yeah.
Okay. And what's the, let's see, you said you had the Mach-E, was it?
The GT.
The GT, okay.
Yeah, the EcoBoost and the GT. So the GT is, 5-liter V8 engine, normally aspirated. If I remember correctly, I think 480 horsepower or something like that. I think you get it maybe at 486 horsepower. Yeah, that's a ton of horsepower, right? I mean,
unbelievable.
Those would be dream days back in 1970, right?
Oh, yeah, we had to work hard to get even close to that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's not the case any longer. Well, so those are so there's the Ford product. How about electric vehicles?
I've driven.
Go ahead.
I've driven a lot of them recently. One that I've driven recently was the Kia EV6 GT.
Yes, I had that. Oh my gosh, what a car!
Kind of crazy fast, right? I mean, just almost mind-numbingly fast. I'm not sure, and I'm curious as to your take. In some ways, it's a performance car, but in other ways, I don't think it actually is a performance car. It's certainly a performance car in a straight line sense, but. What's your take on that?
Well, I agree with you. It's it certainly has the look. I love the look of the car. The styling was unbelievable. The interior was great. The materials that they used and all that. But I drove it I only put it in the GT mode a couple of times, and well, you know what that's like. I mean, it might be on a rocket ship, but that's not for everyday driving. I liked it. I don't know how comfortable it would be in the long term. I think the seats are a little bit too GT-ish, if you will, the wraparound stuff. And that's fine for the short period of time that I normally get the cars. But in the long term, the ease of getting in and out of the car, I mean, that needs to be considered if you're going to buy it for your everyday commuter car, I think.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. I think actually the GT line, which is also pretty darn quick, not as quick, but pretty darn quick, with more range and is less expensive, probably the better buy.
That's what I would say, too. I didn't get to drive that car, but I don't need that crazy horsepower. I mean, I like it, don't get me wrong. But for everyday use, I think that not only the price, but just everything about it seems to make more sense to me.
Yeah, I agree with you.
How are things going on America on the Road? Do you take calls on that show?
We take questions, but we don't take calls.
Gotcha.
We have people write in with questions or, text in with questions, and then we answer them on an upcoming show.
Do you ever get any, like, a kind of a run of questions that are kind of in the same vein on a week-to-week basis?
Yeah, we do. And, kind of continuing on from, something we answered the week before. We've had kind of a run of questions about two-seat sports cars, like is it a good idea to have one? What are some good ones? That kind of thing. Certainly, we're getting tons of questions about EVs because we talk about EVs a lot, probably too much, right? I mean, it's still less than 10% of the market, but it's the hottest part of the market, I think, in terms of consumer interest, or one of the hottest parts of the market.
So it's America on the road, and we can. Are you still doing TrueCar?
Yes, absolutely. I write for TrueCar. I write for JDPower.com. Virtually all the comparisons on JDPower.com now I write, so you can look for those.
You're my hero, Jack. I love you, man.
What about the book? The book.
Oh, the book. Yes, well, of course. Well, we've got it. We've had it up here the whole show. Dance in the Dark, Jack Nerad, and I hope book sales are going well for you.
Yeah, they seem to be.
And we're going to try to help continue to promote that, and we appreciate you being with us today.
Don just wants to cover.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me.
All right,
Thanks
Jack. We'll talk to you again soon. Thanks again.
Take care.
You too. Author, professor of cars, trucks, and SUVs. He is Jack Nerad. All right.
Man.
Let us do, if you don't mind, you want to do Conrad's events calendar, or do you want to do the car review? Let's do the car review, Mr. Mars.
Let's do the car review.
Is it too much to ask?
No.
You have to do it from a different seat. You're sitting in Jeff's seat today.
It's so weird to be sitting over here and doing it.
Well, I don't make a habit of it. I'm used to Jeff.
I'm not making a habit of sitting over here. I can assure you.
Used to Jeff sitting there. Anyway, Go ahead.
So we're talking about, this time we're talking about the 2023 Kia Soul GT line. Now, this is one of the 6 trim levels. It's about a mid-trim level. It's front-wheel drive only. They've dropped the all-wheel drive availability, just like they dropped the turbo engine option out of the GT line that you could get. Now, this is considered a subcompact hatchback. It's considered a compact SUV. It depends on where you go and look for some sort of category on this vehicle. And it's really the last of those boxy shapes that came out with the Scion B, the Cube, the Element. All of them came out. They were all these basic vehicles.
Could you put that up there for the broadcast people to see?
Like that?
Like that. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You're doing a fine job over there.
Apparently, we're going to two different people are going to drive. So okay, so the this to me this is more of what we used to call a station wagon. It does have the big lift gate in the back like an SUV or a CUV, but the way it's laid out and stuff, I would consider the station wagon. It has no real competitors anymore. They've all left the marketplace. So we're going to find that front. We've got some unique front and rear bumpers because it is the GT line. Got LED lighting all around, fog lights that are on the GT line, tail lights. We had the body color heated side mirrors that are on it that really help. It has a sunroof. And again, back to your earlier point, crack it a little bit, let some of that heat out, makes a big difference. Has some rear privacy glass that also help this vehicle as far as keeping the heat out. It rolls on some nice 18-inch alloy wheels, and inside we have the cloth and Syntex seating surfaces. Front seats are heated, back seats are not. It had the 10.25-inch screen up in the middle of the dash. It was a touch screen. That's where you're going to find your rear view camera. You're going to find the Kia Connect system. That's the infotainment system, and all your convenience controls that are going to be right there. It does have a wireless phone charger, front and rear USB ports, which are important, and the Carmen Harden premium audio sound system. Again, drop the turbocharged, so now you only have the 2.0, 147 horsepower, 132 pound-feet torque engine in it. It's backed by a CVT. The EPA says you should get 28 in the city, 33 on the highway. Combined should get 30. Now, I got 29.1 across 293.3 miles. I thought it was great, and I liked driving this car. I can see where it fits into that category quite well. It's not sets up like a big SUV. It's more like a car when you get in it and start driving it. It's got adequate power around town. It's got acceptable acceleration to get up on the freeway and to make passing. It's a little bit of road noise, and it's a firm ride, but it's nothing that you can crank up that Harman Kardon and you'll blow it all out and you won't even notice it.
I've always loved the Kia Soul. Always.
Base model on this is $21,215, so you can get in the door for $21,000. Now, the base trim price that we were driving, again, mid-trim level, $24,815, as tested, $27,220. So still under that $28,000 mark. Yeah. You're going to get a bumper-to-bumper 5-year, 60,000-mile warranty with that, a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain warranty, and a 5-year, 100,000-mile road assistance warranty with that vehicle.
Gimme.
You were looking for something to compare it to. There's still the Hyundai Kona for $22,140, and Mazda CX-30, $22,950, maybe even the Chevy 12 Trailblazer at $22,100 to wrap it up. And that's my review of the Kia Soul GT. And if I had a need for one, I would absolutely
I'll
consider
tell you what,
it.
I've always liked them. I like the styling of them, and this particular one I drove several months ago. It's sweet, man. Yeah, I really like it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, time now. Let's get the events calendar in there, Conrad.
So tomorrow is Coffee and Chrome at the Avalon Diner down here off of the Fountains Shopping Center at 59 and Highway 90. Also, October 20th is the 38th annual Wolf Creek Car and Truck and Bike Show at Wolf Creek Park in Cold Spring, Texas. August 12th is Cypress Cars and Coffee, Back to School Drive at the Fairfield Baptist Church. October 28th is the Oak Turbo Fest instead of October. Oak Turbo Fest at the Kareem Shriners in Waco, Texas. Lone Star Drift Round 4 is at Motorsports Resort in Angleton. That's August 19th. September 23rd, Lone Star Drift Round 5 is at the Houston Police Academy at 17,000 Aldine Westfield. And then also October 21st is Lone Star Drift Round 10 at 17,000 Aldine Westfield Drive.
We talked to the drift guy last week.
Zach.
Yeah, I was blown away. I had no clue, and it was very informative. Great guest. Yeah, truly enjoyed that. We got a couple of headlines I want to get in before we wrap things up today. Here's a reminder not to drink and drive, especially when the vehicle being driven is a $600,000 Ferrari. That was on display in the showroom of the dealership. Utah Highway Patrol troopers arrested 29-year-old last week after he allegedly broke into Ferrari of Salt Lake City and took a car on a brief joyride. Man used a rock to break the glass wall of the dealership, opened the door of a car inside the building, and found the keys on the center console. Morons. Police said he started the car and hit the interior glass, 4 other vehicles, and exterior doors on his way out with the vehicle, which was identified only as a model worth $600,000. The other vehicles reportedly sustained an estimated $100,000 of damage. The suspect was arrested by troopers who saw him walking away from the vehicle nearby. According to the man's booking affidavit, he stated, "This was a spur-of-the-moment act after he was drinking all day."
Yeah, I'm going to get drunk and go steal a
Ferrari.
$500,000 Ferrari.
Break the glass of the dealership and go in there. But the car had the keys in it.
Well, that's problem one.
Yeah, that's 2 problems there.
Yeah. Uber reported its first operating profit fueled by demand for rides and delivery, and marking a significant milestone as the company seeks to move beyond its cash-burning past. I didn't think they were going to make it. And that the CEO of the company was spending all the money as fast as it brought it in. What a mess. But who doesn't know about Uber now? Quite the change in direction. And Toyota's Land Cruiser nameplate rejoins the brand's U.S. lineup next year in a trimmed-down and less expensive form, much closer to the off-roader's roots than its bloated predecessor, which had evolved to overlap similar body-on-frame Lexus models. The Land Cruiser will be smaller, more nimble, and equipped with a hybridized turbocharged powertrain, a host of infotainment systems, assistance, and driver assistance features, and a boxy look that evokes its early heritage. Did you see the picture of it? Kind of interesting. It'll start in the mid-50s range. Toyota suspended U.S. sales of Land Cruiser in 2021 after a 63-year run. Low-volume off-roader started at 86.8 back in the day. Crazy.
Very much in the vein of the original.
Yep. 2.4-liter turbocharged engine made it to an 8-speed automatic transmission and a 48-horsepower electric motor. And Tesla, all of you Tesla owners, here you go. U.S. auto safety regulators have opened an investigation into the 23 Tesla Model 3 and Y electric vehicles after reports of loss of steering control. Agency said it has opened the safety probe to assess the scope, frequency, and manufacturing processes associated with the issue. The probe could affect about 280,000 Tesla Model 3 and Model Y vehicles. What do you got on tap this week, Mr. Mars? Other than working on the show.
I got an invite to a Toyota event next Friday, the 11th, here in town.
I did.
They're going to have a few new Toyotas out there.
I didn't get that invite.
Well, they knew you couldn't make it.
Are you still a journalist? Are you still with the Texas Auto Writers Association?
Yes, sir.
Oh, well,
still
that's
there.
why. That's why. I can't do that at any rate. Well,
other
good
than that,
for you.
yeah.
And Conrad is doing his thing over there, and
Yep.
it's good.
Still working out of the house for Master Tech.
Nice.
Aftermarket warranty. Yeah. Great company. Good policy.
Good. And
learning a lot. Get a chance to see all the various vehicle lines and where their issues are.
We're going to wrap up today's show right after this.
Everyone at the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In at the Lupe Tortilla Tex-Mex in Katy, thank you for participating in the best cruise in around and look forward to seeing you again. You'll hear about the next cruise in date right here on In Wheel Time. Next time you're in the West Houston Energy Corridor area, be sure and stop in at the original Lupe Tortilla Tex-Mex at I-10 and Highway 6 or the Katy location on the Grand Parkway at Kingsland Boulevard. When passing through Beaumont or College Station, stop in and have Lupe's award-winning beef fajitas and frozen margaritas. There's always a celebration at Lupe Tortilla. Lupe Tortilla founder Stan Holt and his wife Sheila are winning racers on the NHRA drag racing circuit and have a collection of hot rods and classics that everyone appreciates. Look for them at the next Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In. The date will be announced soon and will once again be held at the Lupe Tortilla Tex-Mex on 99 and Kingsland Boulevard, just south of I-10 and Katy. We'll give you all the details right here on the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show and online. Donations benefit God's Garage. We'll see you then. You own a car you love. Well, why not let Gulf Coast Auto Shield protect it? Houstonian John Gray invites you to his state-of-the-art facility to introduce you to his specialist team of auto enthusiasts. We promise you'll be impressed. Whether you're looking to massage your original paint to a like-new appearance, apply a ceramic coating, install a paint protection film, nano-ceramic window tint, or new windshield protection called ExoShield, Gulf Coast Auto Shield is where Houston's car people go. Curbed your wheels? Instead of buying new, why not have them repaired? How about a professionally installed radar detector? Gulf Coast Auto Shield does that too. Get a peek inside the shop and look at the services offered by getting online and heading to gcautoshield.com. Better yet, stop by their facility at 11275 South Sam Houston Tollway, just south of the Southwest Freeway, and get a personal tour. Gulf Coast Auto Shield is your place to go for all things exterior. Call them today, 832-930-5655 or gcautoshield.com. The award-winning In Wheel Time Car Talk Show is available on the most popular podcast channels out there in 30-minute episodes. We realize our 3-hour live show can be difficult to catch in its entirety, so now you can listen every day to a convenient, fresh 30-minute episode. Check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, and Audible, along with a dozen more. In Wheel Time has the most informative automotive guest interviews and new car reviews, along with popular features including Conrad's Car Clinic and This Week in Auto History, along with automotive news headlines. Our live broadcast airs every Saturday, 8 to 11 Central on InWheelTime.com, the iHeart app, and on YouTube. Be sure to say hello when we're broadcasting from the Tailpipes and Tacos Cruise In, Autorama, and the Houston Auto Show, among others. Now, it's easier than ever to hear about all things automotive all week long. You're invited to join fellow car enthusiasts in becoming part of the ever-growing In Wheel Time Car Talk family. Don't forget those 30-minute podcast episodes on your favorite podcast channel.
I had the wrong button. That's the checkered flag for this week's
right
In Wheel Time Car Talk Show. Hey, when you're online, follow us on Facebook, give us a like, tell your friends about us, and share our junk if you would, please. We promise to keep you posted on all things automotive all week long, including new car reviews, upcoming events, cruise-ins, racing events, and car, truck, and SUV goodies. And promise not to load up your feed. And you can find the In Wheel Time Car Talk Show 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app and on our live stream on Facebook, YouTube, and on InWheelTime.com every Saturday, 8 to 11 a.m. Central Time. Daily 30-minute podcasts are available on the podcast channel you use. The In Wheel Time Chief Engineer is David Ainsley. Our marketing advertising advisor and video technical director is We Need More Jeff Zekin.
We do today.
Here. The booking agent and Zoom master Mike Mars. Mr. Know-It-All is royalty King Conrad DeLong. I'm your slug around town, Don Armstrong. Hey, please join us next week for another award-winning production of the In-Wheel Time Car Talk Show. At least we think it is anyway. Saturday, August 12th, 2023 on all of our In-Wheel Time Car Talk outlets right here on the Smoke and Mirrors Network, 8 to 11 Central Time. Have a great weekend. Stay cool. Join me at Croman Coffee Cruise In tomorrow, starting at 9 o'clock at the Avalon Diner at the Fountains on the Southwest Freeway. See you later.